All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special edition of Varsity Chalk Talk here at Hooley House in Mentor. This is the CVC Football Coaches Kickoff Showcase, and what we are doing here tonight is we're going to introduce you to the CVC, Chagrin Valley Conference, both the Valley and the Chagrin Division, the football teams for the upcoming 2017 season. My name is Bill Tilton. Very quickly, if you don't know me, I was at the News Herald for 12 years, so I've been at all the CVC games over the course of the years. Since then, I've left, and I'm now doing my own thing, which involves Chalk Talk and some radio and podcasting. Also, I'm also still in the area doing media relations and that type of thing for a couple of the football teams and other schools. So hopefully you've seen me around. If you haven't, then I need to get around more. But I've been doing this for a long time, and I was absolutely thrilled, honored, excited, whatever adjective you want to use, when the new commissioner of the CVC gave me a phone call and approached me about maybe doing some things with the conference. And I'm going to introduce him now. This is a gentleman that not only do I respect, but I've known for a long time as an official in the area for basketball, as a oral surgeon. I almost said dentist, Doc. Don't get mad at me. This is Don Lewis. If you haven't met him, I'm sure he's probably been out to your school. You know the AD, the coaches. This is a good man to run the conference, believe me. He knows the area. He knows sports. But more importantly, he knows student athletes and coaches and administration and how to deal with everybody at all levels the right way. I couldn't have handpicked, not that anybody asked my opinion, a better gentleman for the job. So you guys in the CVC and the girls, too, let's not forget about the ladies' programs, are very fortunate to have Don with you, and I'm thrilled to be here with him tonight. So, Don, first of all, congratulations on the position, and thanks for having me, and welcome to the CVC.
Thank you, Billy. It's an honor and a privilege and a very humbling experience to be the new commissioner of the Chagrin Valley Conference. First of all, I want to start off by thanking a number of people. First of all, Billy Tilton, who I've known for a number of years through the News Herald and through Chalk Talk, for actually organizing this at late notice. I want to thank Mike in the back. Is Mike in the back?
Yeah.
Mike in the back for running the podcast. And I'd like to thank Busy. Where's Busy?
Right
Busy
there.
for helping out, and the Hooley House. I'd like to thank in advance the coaches, the players, the parents, the guests that have come to the CVC. You know, my opinion, when I took this position at the CVC, I felt that the Chagrin Valley Conference, and all the years I've been associated with, it goes back to 1980, where I was a team doctor for Chagrin Falls and started the hockey program and the swimming program and officiating the league. I felt that this was the premier league in the state of Ohio, and my goal is to take this even higher as we move forward. So tonight, what I want to do is I want to kick this off. I've been to all the schools. I hear the bands playing. I see the cheerleaders practicing. I've been out on the field with you guys, and I just wanted to take up just 10 seconds more time to say thank you for coming out tonight. And I'm going to turn this over to my dear friend Billy Tilton to handle the introductions. Billy, good luck, and thank you immensely.
Appreciate it, Doc, and thanks for having me again. I'm absolutely thrilled. You know, to get this kind of turnout already, and first of all, I know a lot of people had their first scrimmage this morning. It's a Tuesday. We usually do Chalk Talk on Mondays. For some of the folks in the Valley Division, that's a long drive, Independence, Cuyahoga Heights. So I really do appreciate everybody coming out here, and hopefully we'll make this worth your while. The way this is going to go, folks, is from 7 to 8. So this first hour, we are going to interview the folks in the Valley Division. All right? You can bring up, 2, 3, 4 guys if you'd like. We'll get some of the players on. We'll get the coach on. And the interviews will last probably about 7 or 8 minutes per team. To be honest with you, if you notice, I don't have a ton of prep work and prepared, and I don't do that. I don't like the robotic stuff. I like to just have a conversation. So we're just going to talk. If it takes 5 minutes and you don't feel like talking, we'll be done. If it takes 11 minutes, then so be it. This is the nice thing about having this option, and I want to echo what Doc said about Busy and Hooley House. to put this together and to organize this on a Tuesday when it's not our normal Chalk Talk night, early in the summer, when guys are still in the two-a-days and the scrimmages, it's huge. And John and Richie Reese, but really Busy runs the ship here, and the folks in the back and on the floor. But I really want us to take some time to thank Hooley House tonight for sure. All right, so we are going to get started, and you'll see if you've been here for a regular Chalk Talk, this is going to be very similar. But we're going to start with the Kirtland Hornets. Coach Tiger Laverty and a couple of his guys are going to come up. Again, we are doing the CVC Valley to get kicked off here from 7 to 8. Come on, you guys should know the drill here. You only won 3 state titles in the last 10 years. Come on. Here we go. All right. Oh, and let me say this with Mike. Are you hanging around here somewhere? Mike, come on up here for a second. Folks, let me just get this out of the way real quick. So people have been asking, this is not live on the radio, and that's a good thing because you don't have to be sitting in your car from 7 to 9. You're not stuck after it's over. You're going to have a chance to listen to this on several different outlets. And the way this is going to work is we have set up a new Facebook page for Chalk Talk. There will be a link on the Facebook page, okay? YouTube. We will have a YouTube channel dedicated to Chalk Talk, okay, and in this case, the CVC show. SoundCloud will also have it. I'm at Real Chalk Talk. I will find the link and put it on my Twitter, and I'll tweet it out to you. A lot of you follow me on Twitter, okay? So believe me, you will be able to find it. And here's the beauty of this, folks, unlike in years past. And I felt bad. I know Cuyahoga Heights, I remember asking me last year, the year before, it was a Thursday, hey, where can I listen to it? And I don't want to throw the old people under the bus, but there was just nowhere. If you weren't listening to it on Tuesday, you couldn't listen to it. Now, not only can you listen to it, you can listen to it again and again. You can share it. Somebody's out of town, wants to hear it. Your teammates weren't here. Any of that, okay? So it's a much better way of doing things, and it's still the same exposure. And as you can see by the turnout tonight, we're not going to lose anything by not being on the radio, all right? So Mike, appreciate it. He's the tech guy. He's got this whole thing wired for sound, literally and figuratively. All right, kicking us off. Old friend of mine, been dragging him up here for years and years and years, although it's easy to drag somebody up here when they've been to 5 state title games and won 3 of them. But Coach Tiger Laverty and the Kirtland Hornets. Coach, how are you tonight?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I know you squeezed us in, and you got a million other things going on tonight, so I do appreciate you being here. And we appreciate your guys and Coach for coming up. Always good to see you guys. Coach, week in the books. Just briefly, tell me a little bit about the 2017 Hornets. Now, I know it's got to be a little bit of motivation because for the first time in a long time, last year did not end in Columbus. It did not end in Massillon or Canton. You guys were beaten, did not go to the state finals, which hasn't happened in a while. So what has it been like this offseason getting these guys ready?
We had a great offseason. These kids, whatever I ask them to do, they do more. They go above and beyond, and that's just the way it's been for the last few years, and no exception this year. These guys have got after it. Our numbers in the weight room are great. We got a lot of kids out for football, and, they just work hard every day.
Coach, it's been established now, the program there. I mean, like you said, you graduate some great kids and some great names and some familiar faces, but you're reloading because I know it's starting at the younger levels where you're getting great turnout there. Talk about some of these guys, and you've said this to me for years on this stage, they've had to wait their turn. Do you see that now? Guys that have had to wait their turn are really taking advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, we got a lot of good players, so it's hard to make the field. I mean, to be one of our best 11 guys, you got to really put in the time and know what you're doing and be good at what you're doing. We have so many kids and so many good athletes that work hard. It's hard to get on the field.
Coach Tiger Laverty and the Kirtland Hornets are kicking us off here, the CVC Football Coaches Kickoff Showcase. Coach, before we get to the guys, I obviously got to ask because it's the easy question. I mean, you want to win the state title every year, and I'm sure the goals start with winning the league. But, boy, Cuyahoga Heights has not made that easy, and even in the years you have won it, and last year they ran the table. I mean, this is what a division now. I mean, the Valley, you got some new coaches at some of the other schools. You got some really up-and-coming. I mean, I feel like this conference and that division particularly, I know everybody used to say it was the Kirtland, whatever. I know that you guys are going to be challenged probably week in and week out.
Yeah, you know what? It's great to see new faces and new coaches, and Cuyahoga Heights is always a great team. I mean, some of the years that we won the state title, they gave us our closest game. And last year they made the state championship, and they whipped us twice. And Coach Martin and those guys over there, Coach Schaaf, and they do a great job, and those kids work extremely hard. They get up early in the morning and lift all season. So, to get to the level that you have to be at to play for a state title, you have to put in a lot of time. And a lot of people don't know the amount of time these kids put in. But, 7-on-7s, lifting, year-round, over a 4-6 year period, that's what it takes. And these kids go above and beyond. And I'm a big fan of theirs, to be honest with you. I might be their coach, but I enjoy watching these kids compete.
Coach, why don't you go ahead and introduce the 3 young men you brought up with you tonight?
Joey Torok he's a running back. Last year he had 1,500 yards and, 27 touchdowns. 17 touchdowns.
He knows. Don't shortchange him.
Dylan Aquila's another running back, strong safety. Joe plays corner for us. These guys all play defensive back for us. They all tell me they're 170, but they're all probably 155, to be honest. And Mike Zulli at the other end, he's a cornerback for us and a wide receiver for us.
All right, Coach, let's get these guys on, and then I'm going to bring you back at the end for sure.
This is Joe.
Joey, thanks for coming up tonight, and came off a great individual season, obviously, last year. I'm sure you're looking to repeat that, if not do better. But what was it like for you and your teammates just to kind of go in that offseason, not getting to the game that you're so accustomed to getting to? What was it like to have to wait, long 8 months to get back on the field?
Well, it was weird at first because we're not used to that. So it was a lot of motivation just to get back there. So we've been working real hard to get back.
Joe, if I were to ask, I think most people know Kirtland, physical, runs the ball. You guys don't make a lot of mistakes. What kind of team is this year's Kirtland team? Is it different than in years past? How would you describe this year's team?
Well, we're still going to try and do the same thing and run down people's throats and stuff. But I think we got a lot of speed this year, and our quarterback's got a good arm, so hopefully we can mix it up and throw a little bit.
Did you have your scrimmage yet? Did you have your first scrimmage today? How'd it go?
It went pretty well. First scrimmage, a little rusty, but it went overall.
Who was it against?
Padua and
Padua.
Brush.
Padua's supposed to be good this year too, right? And Brush is always Coach Fink and his guys. All right. Talk a little bit about, just very quickly, keys to the season. Is it staying healthy? Is it getting off to a good start? Is it taking care of business in conference? What's the key to a successful season for you guys?
Oh, yeah, we all got to stay healthy, and then just got to go week by week. Don't want to look past anyone, and then just got to, offensive line's got to, that's where it all starts. They got to block real well, and then just got to play good football, I guess.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down to your teammate. Dylan, thanks for being here tonight. And I don't want to repeat myself, but I think it's such an important question when you're talking about Kirtland after 5 straight state titles. So what was the motivation like in the offseason? Talk a little bit about that.
Nobody likes to lose those big games, so I feel like from the young kids up, there's just a lot of motivation to just not repeat that feeling you have when you lose that big game and you make the mistakes that you did. So, yeah.
This is a team that obviously running the football, you're going to be successful, and I think other teams know it's coming and can't do much with it. So what's that like? Do you guys feel like when Coach calls a play, no matter what it is, it has a chance to work, maybe even go for a touchdown on any given play?
Yeah, absolutely. We're all confident with what Coach calls, and he obviously knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for a while, so any given play, any given kid, we feel that we could score.
Dylan, it's funny. When I usually do this, my last question is usually goals for the season. I think at Kirtland, everybody knows the ultimate is to win the whole thing. So I'm going to ask you the same question. How about keys to reaching that goal? How do you get back to that state championship game? What's got to go well for the Hornets this year?
I think for us, it's just a mental thing. I think we have the size, we have the strength, we have the guys, and I think it's just getting rid of those mental errors for us.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that mic down to your teammate. And Mike, we've had Mike before. Mike, thanks for being up here. And tell me a little bit about this team. What's kind of the personality, the characteristic? How would you describe this year's Kirtland team?
This year's team, it's a little bit different because it's usually we're energetic, but this year it's just a new level. Every day in practice, everyone's always going hard, always trying to beat each other. We're all just competitive.
All right, so be honest. Are you guys getting annoyed that I keep asking about not getting to the state title game? Is it one of those things where you're like, hey, we're not going to worry about last year. We're just going to worry about this year?
Yeah, it's kind of just a 1 week at a time thing. We got to just play one game, one play at a time, and just win every day.
What's as far as we know about the offense, and it's a tremendous offense. You run the ball, quarterback. I mean, you got a lot of pieces. But defense, I hope it doesn't, but sometimes gets overlooked. Talk a little bit about your defense this year.
I think we're a fast defense with a lot of guys. We got a bunch of different groups and personalities, and it's going to be exciting to be on the field on a Friday night.
Good D coordinator, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
you
for
like
sure.
Coach Beeler? Yeah, there he is. All right, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Let's pass that down. Coach Laverty and the Hornets coming back. Coach, I'm going to ask you the same question to wrap us up here as our kickoff team on our kickoff show for the CVC. What are I know what your expectations are, so I'm not going to ask that question. What are your, thoughts about this year's team? How would you describe? You've been doing this a lot. I don't even know if you've lost 15 games since you've been there. It's been almost a decade. But what is it about this team that you like particularly?
I do like the way they compete. Our practices are pretty rough, and our defense has been kicking the crap out of the offense. So I was a little bit worried about the offense today, to be honest. Going against Brush and Padua, and I was real happy with how we moved the ball. And defensively, we just got to get after it. But you can't look back. We have to take care of Chagrin Falls. That's our thing. We got them week one. They're a great team. Coach Imarino does a great job. And you can't look down the road. If you do what you need to do every day, the results will take care of itself. But we really got to prepare for what they do offensively and defensively, and that's all our focus is. Win in week one at Chagrin Falls. That'll be a great Friday night football game. They got a great stadium and a great coach. They've played in 2 state titles, so that'll be a great Friday night football game.
August 25th, folks. It's a great crossover. I mean, talk about a showcase for the conference. Kirtland at Chagrin Falls. It should be one heck of a game. Guys, thanks a lot for being here. Good luck. I will certainly bother you on the regular Mondays coming up, so I expect to see you again soon. Thanks for being here tonight. Appreciate it. That's the Kirtland Hornets, ladies and gentlemen, kicking us off, the CVC Showcase. Our first team out of the gate. All right. I promised Hawken they could go next because Coach isn't feeling great. And because of that, Coach, I'm going to ask you to sit at the end, not next to me, all right? So if you're going to cough that way. We got the Hawks coming up here. Coach will grab his seat. All right. But I will ask the guys, and I obviously am going to do the introduction. Next up is the Hawken Hawks, folks, and this is the absolute dean, the veteran, and I couldn't be more complimentary in the area. I'm going to ask him how many years, because shame on me, I should know. But Coach Walton has announced that this is it for him, which is a loss to the area, a loss to coaching, because he's a tremendous coach. The program, it's synonymous, Hawken, Coach Walton, and he's a great guy, too. I mean, I had the privilege at the News Herald to cover him for more than 10 years. How many Saturday afternoon games I saw out there at that stadium, I can't even count. But I just wanted to make sure I brought that up right away before we got going, so good luck to Coach in his final year. All right, I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself so Coach doesn't have to do a lot of talking. First up, do me a favor, do first and last name, year, and position. Go ahead.
My name is Zach Ellenin. I am a senior, and I play outside linebacker and guard.
All right, Zach, here, we'll stick with you. Tell me a little bit about this year's team. What do you like about the 2017 Hawks, and what are kind of the expectations this year?
Well, we've got a lot of returning starters. Last year, it was obviously a tough season. We didn't have much experience starting off, but now most of our guys are returning starters, and we've got a lot of experience under our belt. So I'm pretty confident and there's also high expectations that we can do very well.
I mean, Coach Walton, can you maybe talk a little bit about what he's meant to you as a football player? And I know I don't want him to get mad at me. I'm not going to make this whole thing about that. We want to talk about the football team. But what does it mean to you to play this year for him in his final year?
I mean, for it to be his final year and end on us, it's kind of a weird thought. That he's been here for so long, 30-plus years, and it's ending with us. It's the end of an era. It's weird to think about, but, every single player on that team loves him. All the alumni love him. I couldn't think of a better man to coach our team.
Talk to me a little bit about keys for the season. What's going to take for a successful campaign for the Hawks?
Well, we need to stay injury-free. Numbers are pretty big deal for us. We're a little low on the numbers this year, so we need to stay healthy, and also just communication in general. We really need to communicate.
All right, appreciate it. Pass that to your teammate. Again, we're with the Hawken Hawks up second. This is the Valley Division portion of the CVC Kickoff Showcase. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is TJ Perusik. I'm a senior and a quarterback and safety.
TJ, saw your name in the paper quite a bit. You know, I mean, from an individual standpoint, I mean, what are you looking to do as far as this year? Do you have individual goals, or are you just more worried about what the team does?
I mean, right now we're just focused as a team, just getting better every day, and as Coach always says, get better, get worse. This is
a very competitive side of the division, obviously, with Kirtland, Cuyahoga Heights. Do you just worry about yourselves, or are you're not concerned with the other teams? Talk about the approach to the upcoming season.
Well, I think we're just worrying week by week and game planning off of that. I mean, we don't really look ahead too far. We just want to take it game by game and build off of that as we go through the season.
Keys for this year. Give me some strengths maybe of the football team, just things that got to go well for you guys to be successful.
As Zach said, definitely we have to stay healthy. A few guys go down, and that could take a difficult turn. But, yes, definitely staying healthy and just relying on each other. We do have experience coming back, and just working as a team, working as a well-oiled machine.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down to your teammate. Next up for the Hawken Hawks. Go ahead.
Nick Kanisha. I play wide receiver and free safety.
Nick, tell me a little bit about if you had to describe the personality, the characteristic, what are the strengths? What do you like about this year's team?
I think we're going to be, Hawken's never really been really big up front my 4 years being here. We're going to need to depend on our speed and athleticism.
Coach Walton, obviously, been around for a long time, a lot of wins. I'm sure he's meant a lot to you in your years at the school. What does it mean to be playing kind of in his finale here?
Like Zach said, it's like coming in, he had, 40 years of experience. So to think that whereas last year we have to, it's almost a little bit of pressure. Yeah.
What's key for this year? Hopefully we'll talk again maybe on a Monday for Chalk Talk. If you guys are going to have a successful campaign, what's got to happen?
We need to work our butts off in practice to get in our best shape that we can be in because of our numbers. Yeah.
All right, appreciate it. Let's get Coach in here. Last up. And this is Coach Cliff Walton. Coach, first of all, I promise, how about 2 questions and I won't make you talk anymore?
That's okay.
You're
That's
okay?
Go.
Thank you so much for being here. First of all, allow me just to say again, congratulations on an unbelievable career. This is it for you. How many years, Coach, total? 37, 38? Am I close?
46.
46, so I wasn't anywhere close. So 46 years, that's unbelievable. And this is it. Is it emotional, or is it just one of those, it's time? I mean, you've won a lot of games. You've had a lot of great athletes. You sent a lot of kids to college. What's this like for you to make this decision now?
Difficult, no question about it, because it's a great profession, and it has been. And you get to work with great young men like these guys that are sitting right here. So, and that's been the case down through the years. So that's the hardest thing that you're going to have to give up. But it's time. It's physically demanding, and it is time to probably just step back. So that's what I'm going to do.
Let's talk about this year's team. Again, 46 years of doing this. You know what you like when you see a team. What are some of the strengths, some of the positives? What do you like about this squad?
Well, our numbers are really low, and that's why they say we have to avoid injuries. That's first and foremost key for us, and we're going to have a lot of guys going both ways. And that is going to be right along with not getting hurt. That's right there. So what we like, though, is the fact that we've got some half a dozen starters coming back on both sides of the ball. We didn't have that last year, and that's why we struggled. We like the prospects of when we do have guys coming back that have experience. And 2 years ago we were in the playoffs, but last year was a struggle. They have the experience, and they're exciting to watch at practice. They're working hard, and we're really looking forward to this season.
Coach, and as Coach Cliff Walton, the Hawken Hawks are next up. Talk a little bit real quickly about just scrimmage schedule, the non-conference. What are some of the things coming up for you big on the calendar here?
Well, we, like Kirtland, we scrimmaged this morning, and so we got that first one going, and we'll go a week from Friday. We're only going 2. We don't want to go 3 times and maybe hurt somebody. So
right.
We're going to avoid that. But we're looking forward to it. We got the same schedule we had last year, coming opposite sites, but it's good. And we start with Trinity, and then we got Lutheran West coming our place, and then we go with Gilmore, and then we go right into the league. So it's a very exciting schedule for us.
And 4 of the first 5 on the road, so going to have to get ready to Really
Well,
get
week two we're at home.
Yeah, week 2, and then the next 3, right? Gilmore, Cuyahoga Heights, and Richmond Heights are all on the road. Is that right?
We do road trip. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Coach, appreciate it. I'm not going to make you talk anymore. Good luck to you this final season. Good luck to you guys, and hopefully we'll have you back, all right?
Thank you very much.
Coach Walton and the Hawken Hawks, ladies and gentlemen. Next up on the CVC Showcase, Coach Adams and Independence. After that will be Cuyahoga Heights. The Redskins will be up after that. Again, folks, you can get this. It will be Don Lewis, the commissioner of the CVC, will have access to it. I'm sure you can email the AD or the coach if necessary, but you can find it. YouTube, you can find it on Facebook. I will tweet it out. Again, I am at Real Chalk Talk, so anytime you're looking for information or scores, I usually do quite a bit of tweeting. You can get it that way as well. Coach, come on, grab a seat. All right, next up. Another gentleman I've known for a while at a couple different stops, and good enough to come out to, we have a West Side version of Chalk Talk in Brooklyn, and he has been very kind with his time out there. I am speaking of Coach Adams from the Independence Blue Devils. Coach, how are you, man?
Great, thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here and for driving quite a ways, which is why I wanted to get you kind of early in the show. I don't want to make you wait too long. Coach, just tell me a little bit about this group and this team, and what do you like about the 2017 Blue Devils?
The big thing I'm really encouraged about is, our senior class. Many of them were starters my first year when they were sophomores. So they're coming back as 3-year starters and with a lot of experience. So I'm really excited and encouraged by what we've been doing so far in our summer practices and in the double session so far. It's been a lot easier implementing the offense and the defense this year because they are actually helping coach the younger guys because they know the system now.
Coach Adams, the Independence Blue Devils. Coach, you're coming off a 7-3 year with a tough loss to Open and a tight loss to Kirtland. I mean, that, something play here or there, and, everything could have been spun. How do you build off of having a season like that?
I mean, it's the cliche that we just take it one game at a time. Last year our goal was we wanted to establish respect around the league, and I think we were able to do that. Now these guys they want to take it one step further. They know they got to work hard if we want to get to that ultimate goal of making the playoffs. So that's where they're looking, and it's one game at a time, starting with Columbia.
Coach, go ahead, introduce the guys you brought up with you. We'll get them in, and then we'll bring you back on to close it up.
All 4 up here are captains this year, starting with Nick Mrzinski. He's a 3-year starter. He's going to be a tailback and linebacker for us. Kyle Stefanski is another 3-year starter, a quarterback, 4-year starter at quarterback and at defensive back. Owen Ram is another 3-year starter. Owen, we always tease because my first year, he was receiver, and we only had about 20 kids on the team, so we had to move him to guard. So he had to play guard for us that first year. But he's playing slot receiver, some tight end, outside backer for us. And then Griffin Starling is our 2-year starter at center and played a lot as a sophomore on the line. So all 4 of these guys have a lot of experience this year.
All right. Let's go ahead and pass the mic down there. And just for the recording device, you don't have to reintroduce everything. Just give me your name so we know who we're talking to.
I'm Nick Mrzinski, and I'm a running back and linebacker.
Nick, tell me a little bit about this year's team. What do you like? What are the strengths? What have you seen in the offseason and in the summer so far?
Well, we've put a lot of work into lifting and just making sure that we get all the guys there. And the more guys that we have there, the more that we form as a team, and it makes it a lot easier for everyone.
Talk, if you can, about maybe just some goals, expectations. Where are you guys at as a football team as far as, I know Coach doesn't want you looking past week 1, but what do you want out of this group this year?
Well, we just want to make sure that we improve every week and just work hard and make sure that we beat the teams that we know we can.
All right. Go ahead and pass that down. I want to make sure everybody gets in. Go ahead and introduce yourself just one more time real quick.
I'm Kyle Stefanski, the quarterback and corner.
So, Kyle, obviously it sounds like you're experienced. Does it get, I'm afraid to use the word easier because I don't want to downplay how hard it is to play that position, but has it become more comfortable for you the further you've gone along?
Right. I feel like every year, I'm more comfortable there, and it's easier to sit back there and take everything in.
This team, 7-3, a lot of success last year, and even the couple games you lost. I mean, you're right there with Columbia. I mean, I got to believe, confidence-wise, for the guys that are on that team, talk about moving forward off of a year like that.
Well, we want to win every game we play in, and if that takes us to 15-0, it takes us there. But we want to play every game the best of our ability, and I think these guys can do it.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up.
My name's Owen Ram. I play slot receiver and outside backer.
Owen, give me some keys to this season. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys again out in Brooklyn, and if you're having a successful year, what's got to happen for Independence?
Mostly, we all have to come together, play as a team. No one can be an individual.
Captains on a 7-3 team, is the senior class, would you say that's one of the strengths, just being a tight-knit? I mean, is that something that you guys believe in?
For sure. We've all been playing now. We've all been starters 3 years. We've all been playing together since middle school. We all know what we have to do.
Non-conference is, I mean, when you're in a league with a Kirtland, with a Cuyahoga Heights, how important is it to get off to that strong start in the non-conference? Because with only 10 games and the way the computer is set up, I mean, does it give you more of a sense of urgency going in?
Oh, it does. It definitely does. Last year, we set our first game. That's going to be the most important, and we missed it by that much. And this year, I think we need to come out, get that first game, get our season going in the right direction.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Go ahead, pass that down. Last up for Independence. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Griffin Starling. I'm starting center.
Why don't you talk about the guys up front? I'm sure everybody gets sick of hearing about how's the offense, how's the quarterback. Talk about the offensive line. Well, what kind of group should we expect out of you this year?
We're a big line. We work good together. I'm not good at this.
Okay, that's all right. You're fine. Tell me about this team as far as after going 7-3 last year. I mean, are the expectations, are the goals just really lofty this year?
Our goals are set higher because of how good we did last year. We want to take the next step as a team.
Okay. Appreciate it, man. Tell you what, let's bring the mic back to Coach. Coach Adams, we are with Independence. Good enough to join us on the kickoff. Coach, real quick, scrimmage-wise, did you guys go this morning? Talk a little bit about that.
We go tomorrow against Bay.
Bay, okay. What you've been doing this long enough, and you know what you want to see out of your guys. What the first scrimmage? I mean, what are you looking for tomorrow?
I just want to see us compete. I want to see us be aggressive. Obviously, being the first scrimmage, there's going to be some rust. There's going to be some mental mistakes. But, we always talk about TNT. It takes no talent to give that effort. And, that's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking at us getting to the ball on defense, flying to the ball, offensively blocking to the whistle. All those things you talk about, from Little League all the way up. It's those little things.
Coach, real quick, and we'll close on this. How about your keys to the season? We'll be out in Brooklyn. Hopefully we'll have you a couple times there. And, 7-3 was great. You guys are talking about taking another step. What has to happen to take that next step?
I think some of our younger guys need to step up. We have a very good veteran core, but, being a small school, we are thin in numbers. Our numbers are up. This year we're up at 35. So, like a lot of the other schools, you can't have those injuries. But, if we can get a couple of the younger guys to step up and really contribute, that's really, really going to be a bonus because it's going to take these guys, off the field for a defensive series or an offensive series or special teams. And, the more rest they can get, the more productive they're going to be, and they're going to be more efficient, on the field. So the keys, I think, for us are getting some of the younger guys to step up.
All right, guys, I really appreciate it. I know you came a long way tonight, and I wanted to get you out of here as early as possible. Coach, it's always good seeing you, and I will absolutely be bugging you to come out to Brooklyn. Maybe not the first week since we just did this tonight, but down the road I'll get you, okay?
It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate it. All right, that's Coach Rick Adams and the Independence Blue Devils. Good luck to them in 2017. All right, yeah, a little round of applause for the Blue Devils. Cuyahoga Heights, come on up. And after Cuyahoga Heights will be Fairport and Cardinal. Fairport and Cardinal. Good to see you, man. How are you? Good to see you. I got a little. All right, so next up, let's say friends of mine, because we've had them, we've bothered them enough to come out to Brooklyn, and they've always been generous with that. And tonight, obviously, if you aren't aware where Cuyahoga Heights is, it's not exactly around the corner from Menor. So thrilled to have them. Wanted to get them on in sort of the early half of the show. And Coach Martin, who's not here tonight, I can't say enough about Coach Martin. Not only the job he does, but you won't, I know this is going to sound so cliche, and oh yeah, right, you're going to roll your eyes. You won't find, like a guy who, every time I text or call, he might not be always able to make it, but he returns, he gets back to you, he says, hey, next time, so just really appreciate all Coach Martin has done for me and for this show. And this gentleman has filled in more than a few times and gotten to know him, and really appreciate him being here. Coach, go ahead and introduce yourself for the folks.
I'm John Schaefer, coach the D-line and offensive backs at Cuyahoga Heights.
Coach is a very well-respected assistant coach. And, boy, Coach, let's start with last year. I mean, except for one more step, it doesn't get any better than last year. And, well, heck, I could just say anytime you beat Kirtland twice in the year, you're pretty thrilled. But obviously there's bigger things on your plate than just one other football team. Talk about the year and just the excitement and making that run in the playoffs like you guys did.
Last year's seniors, they were a special group. I think they really paved the way for what we're going to try to do this year with the kids. Coming out of our conference really prepares all the teams if you're lucky enough to get to the playoffs. Obviously, we have the utmost respect, and we're big fans of Kirtland as well. Independence is always really tough. Cardinal, Berkshire, Hawken, Richmond Heights, the whole crew. It's a great conference, and it definitely gets our team ready.
14-1, folks. They ran the table again, beat Kirtland twice, and then ran into Marion local, Maria Stein, and 21-17 in a game that obviously goes either way. So, motivation, Coach, for the younger ones that were in that football game and on that field on that early December day. Talk a little bit about what that did for your guys in the program moving forward.
Sure, absolutely. A lot of people had asked that we're outside of the program, like, are you worried your kids are going to be satisfied? And I said quite the opposite.
No, absolutely.
I mean, if anything, this is probably a very angry group in a healthy way. They've taken that motivation into the weight room in the off season. A lot of self-led workouts, 3-sport athletes, just a great competitive group prepping for this year.
Coach, the thing that jumps out, too, it's not just the 14-1 record. I mean, short of 17-0 against Kirtland, no game was within 20, 30 points. I mean, you really were that epitome of a dominant team. What do those guys learn from something like that? I mean, do they learn that if you do all the work and the little things come together, not only can you be a good football team, you can be dominant? I mean, does that help, guys that play on a team that's that good for that long a period of time?
Absolutely. I mean, you said it. Al runs a special system. Can't talk about Al without talking about Dan Durazio, our D coordinator. We've always tried to instill in the kids that it's all about game plan, preparation, mindset. And if you do your job individually, in the end, everything comes together.
Coach, let's go ahead and introduce the guys you brought up. We'll get them in for a few questions each.
Okay, actually, I'll let them.
Okay.
I'll just hand it down.
That works for me. Go ahead and just go name, year, and position.
Tyler Hughes, senior, wide receiver, and free safety.
Tyler, what a great year last year is. And I'm sure you guys just want to talk about 2017, so I'm not going to beat up 2016. But anytime you can make the run you did, what does that do in the offseason as far as motivation and wanting to get back there?
Yeah, that state final game, we think about that every day.
Hold the mic up a little bit. There you go. Yeah, you're good.
We think about that state final game every day. I mean, it's been our motivation all off season, and we're just really excited to get this season rolling.
Tell me about this year's team. Well, what should we expect out of Cuyahoga Heights? It's always a physical team. It's always a very well-coached team. Obviously, the man sitting to my right, Coach Martin, Durazio. What should we expect out of you guys this year?
Our teams are going to be really physical this year. We expect to have a lot of speed on both sides of the ball. So just like last year, we expect to be a tough team this year.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down. All right, next up.
Dylan Drummond, senior wide receiver, cornerback.
Last year had to be, close to as perfect as you can get, right? So how do you duplicate that? What needs to happen to try and do the same thing and take Cuyahoga Heights back to that place?
Well, it all started in the off season, obviously. Summer lifting, trying to get everybody in the weight room, even in the winter, and summer workouts. Everyone's working as hard as they can down in the field or in the weight room. So it all starts in the off season. Now it's taking it play by play, accepting a role, and really working hard.
You guys really rolled through the division, but I feel like with Kirtland, with some new coaches and some new faces and some teams getting better, I mean, what is it like competing in the CVC? I mean, do you like the challenge? Does that get you ready for the postseason?
Yeah, we have a really good division, very competitive division, and we never overlook any team. We always prepare for them like it's going to be the state championship game. So, yeah, that does help us prepare for bigger games later in the season.
Keys to the season for you. I'm going to have you in Brooklyn, I'm sure, this year. What's going to have to happen to have another successful year?
Everyone's going to have to stay focused and keep working hard like we have been. Everyone's going to need to accept the role and just keep doing the things we've been doing.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. Go ahead.
Max Schaefer. I'm a senior. I play guard and a nose.
Max, tell me a little bit about this team. If you had to describe it, just personality, strengths of this football team.
I feel like we're a very close group of guys, and we have a lot of weapons we can use. We can do a lot of different things. I feel like we can run the ball, we can pass. The quarterback can scramble, I think.
What did I know I said I wasn't going to talk about last year, but I'm sorry. Any team that gets to the state title game at 14-1, I think it deserves to be brought up. What does last year do for this year's team? Just from experience, playing in, just any number of things that it had to be beneficial.
I feel like last year our overall, our loss in the state championship really keeps us all really pumped and focused and just makes us want to get there even more. You know what I mean? No one's satisfied.
What about keys? Just if you had a pinpoint, all right, if this happens, we have a chance to really be good this year. What are keys?
Everybody's just got to do their 137th. You know what I mean? Everyone's got to do their job, no matter what it is.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. One more Cuyahoga Heights Redskins to get to, and next up.
I'm Ryan Polk. I'm a senior. I play quarterback and cornerback.
So running the show, quarterback in Coach Martin's system, years past it was one way, then it got diverse and it went another way. Talk a little bit about running the offense.
Well, Coach Martin, Coach Schaaf, they do a great job of preparing us, and we just get a lot of reps, a lot of repetition, so we get the plays down. It's a great offense.
What can you tell me about this year's team? Is it different than last year's, and some new faces, some new seniors? Talk about this year.
Well, both teams have the same goal, and both teams that were a tight-knit group of guys, and I think we're just going to work hard and try and get back to where we were last year and even better.
From what you've seen in the offseason in the summer, does this team have similar potential as last year? I mean, do you like what you're seeing?
I believe so, and I think our work ethic is great, and it could get us anywhere that we want to go.
Appreciate it, man. Let's bring it down. Coach Schaefer's going to jump on for one more second, and then we will wrap it up and go to Fairport with Cardinal on deck and Richmond Heights coming up soon. CVC kickoff show. Coach, I'm going to ask you the very same question. You've been doing this long enough. You know the sport. You know your guys. When you see this team and you see the offseason and you see the summer, does this team have similar potential to last year's team?
Absolutely. I'd say the big thing with us is, we did graduate 8 starters on both sides of the ball. And this group of boys has developed all the way through, and they're ready to take the torch. They all understand it's a process. I mean, we can say on paper, yeah, we can do this, but they know that every day you got to get better. It sounds very cliche, week by week, and they've definitely paid the price. I'd say as a whole, from the youngest guy to the oldest guy in our program, we've had some of the most committed, biggest commitments in the program in the off season that we've ever had. So that should pay off.
And, am I seeing this right? You're actually down to Division 7 this year, is that right?
Yeah. Really tough bracket, though. Ooh. Really tough bracket.
It is, but good luck to some of those D7s, because you're D7 in number only. You don't play like a Division 7 team. So, but when you get to the big, we'll see what happens. But, the competitive balance and all that stuff kicks in, and they will be playing in Division 7 this year, but still CVC Valley in the same kind of difficult schedule. We'll see how everything goes for Cuyahoga Heights. Guys, thanks so much for coming out. I'm going to bug you down the road. We'll get you out in Brooklyn, okay? Appreciate it. Good seeing you. Take care. That's Cuyahoga Heights, the Redskins. Thank you very much. Good seeing you. Tell Coach Martin we said hello. Yeah. Nice round of applause, if you guys can, for Cuyahoga Heights. There we go. Skippers, come on up. And then Cardinal will be next with Richmond Heights right after that. And that will wrap up, I believe, the Valley Division. All right, so next up on the CVC Valley portion of the kickoff show here at Hooley House in Mentor, I am with the Fairport Skippers, who have a new man in charge of the program. Coach, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Cameron Ruff. It's my first year here at Fairport. We're looking to change the culture here.
And Coach, talk a little bit about your background as far as football, where you played, where you went, and kind of how you got the position here.
Okay. I've been coaching ever since I graduated high school. I got my start volunteering at Riverside. Then I moved down to Athens County, coached down there, was able to change that culture's program around a little bit, so that was fun. Down at Federal Hawken, and then we moved up down to just south of Stark County, Malvern. Pretty solid traditional program, and made the playoffs a few times, and I've been defensive coordinator at both places, and now I'm here.
Coach, so you take over a program, and you got to bring your own ideas. And one thing I will never do, and I'm not going to do tonight, I'm not going to ask about last year's program or the what was going on, because I'm not here to slam prior coaches or anything like that. But how has the transition been for you? Just getting your guys to buy into what you want to do and how you want them to play football.
They've been doing really well. The coaching staff here is trying to make it as simple as we possibly can make it for our kids to learn it as quickly as they can. And I really think coaches are great thieves of ideas, and we kind of collect ideas and shape them to our own. And you got to fit your personnel. So we've developed both of our schemes around the kids and the talent that we have, and we're ready to go. We've got the kids play fast, and you succeed. Coach, and obviously at Fairport, it's not, this is not an opinion. It's just the numbers usually are low. I'm not saying you can't field an 11 on 11. I don't mean it like that. But how important is it to get kids bought in, to get kids to come out, and obviously stay healthy down the line? But just when you don't have a ton of numbers to work with on both sides of the ball, how important is it to kind of have everything go, close to smooth as possible? Yeah. That's the number one thing. You can be a football coach, but you're not a coach if you don't have a team. So that's been our number one priority, is to develop and get these kids out and to create a positive environment. We want football to be fun for them. It's a very simple equation. If football is fun, more kids play. So we make sure that every kid knows that he matters to us. Every kid's going to have some sort of role involved with us. And that's been the number one thing. We're going to have mid-30s. We're looking at 35, 36. That's good numbers, yeah. So I'm excited. We got a couple kids playing football. They've took a couple years off, and now they're coming out again. And we do have open enrollment, so that gets us a couple kids too. Real quick before we get to these guys, how would you describe this team? What do you like about this team? What are the strengths, kind of the personality of this football team? Definitely athletic. There's some athletes that they're learning how to play football properly. The biggest thing, I think, is energy. We've got some guys who are stepping up and providing that energy, and that's great to see, because if they're providing energy, other kids feed off of that, and that's fun. It's a fast-paced environment. We move very, very quickly through practice, trying to simulate that game environment, and they're doing a good job. They to summarize in one word, teamwork. That's been our focus. We want the kids to learn how to play football together. Coach, let's let these guys go ahead and introduce themselves. Give them a little chance on the mic here. And first up for the Skippers, go ahead.
I am Nathan Big, and I'm a senior, and I play running back and nose guard.
Tell me a little bit about this year's team and just the transition to a new coach. How's the summer been? How's the offseason been?
The offseason's been pretty good. The whole team's it's a whole different culture already. Started pretty late, but different culture already.
3-7 last year, obviously trying to improve on that this year. And it's just a matter of, getting better, right, and trying, and improving. What are the strengths of this team? What do you like about this team when you see you guys out on the field?
What I like most about this team is we're more of like a family this year. And that's the number one thing, I think.
What's key to this year? I mean, 35, that's a good number. I mean, you guys now you have some depth. I mean, I don't think in years past Fairport has had those kind of numbers. What's going to be key moving forward to success this year?
Staying healthy and just giving it our all.
All right. Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down. All right, you can go ahead and pass that down. You're done. Next. Mitchell. Go ahead. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Mitch Yammer. I'm a senior. I play wide receiver and linebacker.
Most important question. Did you or did you not live to the most talented sports writer in Ohio? All right. Tell me a little bit about this team. What do you like about this team? You've now been in the program for a few years. Obviously, you have a new coach, but just tell me about this year's team and kind of the strengths and the positive parts of this group.
They work really hard. They like the coaches.
Hold that closer to you so we can hear you.
Very positive. We're like a family, basically. It's just fun.
What's the transition been like to coach? I mean, has it been pretty smooth? I mean, do you like the system has gone pretty well?
Yeah, it's very easy. We're taking it slow, and during practices we learn a lot, and then we just perfect it on the field.
Now, I know, I'm sure you and your friends, your teammates, very competitive. 3-7, you want to improve on that. So how do you do that? How do you take another step forward? What's going to have to happen for you guys to have a better season than you had last year?
You just prepare week by week, and you just put effort on the field.
All right, appreciate it, man. Next up for the Skippers, go ahead.
My name is Corey Paul. I'm a cornerback and wide receiver.
So, as far as the offseason and the summer have gone, you got a new coach, a new system, some new things going on. Talk just about the transition into this year. Do you like what you're seeing so far?
Yeah, a lot of kids in the offseason are pushing harder. Like last year, we didn't do as much, but this year is definitely changing the culture.
This is a team, 35 guys, a little bit of depth, maybe take some pressure off the two-way guys. What's going to have to be key, though? What's got to happen for you guys to be successful this season?
We have to push hard in practice every single day. You can't take days off.
Have you? Did you scrimmage this morning? How'd the scrimmage go today?
It's pretty even, I would say.
Okay. What are you looking for the next 2 weeks before the start of the year? What do you think you need to get out of your teammates, you and your teammates?
I'd say to push harder and keep confident.
All right, appreciate it. Go ahead and bring that back. Coach Ruff and the Fairport Skippers are good enough to join us. Coach, first year, but I'm sure you've been around. You've been doing this a lot. You know this area. You know this side of the CVC, very, very competitive. You got a couple of hammer teams in Cuyahoga Heights and Kirtland, a lot of other really good teams on the up and come. What are your expectations for your group this year?
I mean, we're honest to God, we're not. It's an exciting conference. It's a great small school conference. I know on the west side of the state of Ohio, the MAC kind of gets attention, but I think the CVC is nothing to ignore. It's been a number of years with a CVC team in a state championship game. Not a lot of conferences can say that. It's great. So, I mean, I'm looking at the conference, but I'm worried about week one and week one only at this point. That's the only game that matters to us. It's a great conference. So when it comes time, we'll prepare as best we can and get after it.
Well, Coach, it's a pleasure meeting you. And before you go, we'll have to get some contact information when we do our show on Mondays every Monday. I won't bother you every Monday, but we'll get you back down here and bring them all except for the guy in the red. All right, and we're good. So, all right, good to see you, man. Thanks, Mitchell. Thank you for playing along. All right, that's the Fairport Skippers. Appreciate them. Thank you for them for coming out. Cardinal Huskies, come on up, guys. And then Richmond Heights, and that'll close out the CVC Valley. I believe the only team we don't have from the Valley is Berkshire tonight. And then we will get into the Chagrin. For those Chagrin teams that are here, if you're looking for a table, I know that we're clearing off some tables now and some booths, but we'll get you seated for sure, I promise. Coach Imarino and the Tigers are here. Coach Rosati I just saw. Beachwood, I believe, is here. Yeah. West G. So we're going to be loaded for the next hour as well. All right. Next up, the Cardinal Huskies. Coach, how are you? It's been a while. How you been?
Good. How are you?
Good. Go ahead and introduce yourself for the folks listening on our podcast.
Eric Cardinal, at Cardinal.
Eric Cardinal at Cardinal. And Coach Cardinal has been there how many years, Coach?
This is 18.
18, yeah. That was good. That's about the number I would have came at because when I got at the News Herald, you were there. So I remember back in the day.
That's right.
with some really good Cardinal teams, too. So tell me about this year's team. Tell me about the 2017 squad.
Well, the 2017 team is we're a little thin in numbers, like people have been saying. Small school, Division 6 now. And we're not allowed to have a hangnail, I told the guys, because we are thin. But I think we've got some talent. And we were especially young a couple of years ago. And some of these guys, I've got here a junior, and a senior. And all those guys 2 years ago played some. The two freshmen played a little, and the sophomore played a lot. And now they're still kind of young, but yet they're experienced. So we're looking for good things.
Coach, how would you describe this year's team? I know you just talked about the numbers, but as far as strengths, I'm not asking you to give us X's and O's on offense and defense and reveal your playbook, but what are some of the things you like when you take a look at this group?
Well, like I said, I think we have a good young experience, especially in the backfield. I think we have to manufacture a line. We graduated 3 seniors off last year's line. We're going to have at least one sophomore that starts on the line just by numbers. I don't know who it's going to be yet, but it's going to be somebody just because you have 5 starters up there. But we're hopeful, and we've got some good young talent, and we're looking forward to developing those guys. But if we develop up front, I think we've got some speed and talent in the backfield. The man to my right here, Trey Shirkey, as a sophomore, gained 900 yards rushing. And we expect big things from him this year. Not because he's going to be featured, but just because he's going to be a year better and a year older. Same thing with our junior quarterback, who has 10 varsity starts under his belt. So we're looking for good things from all those guys.
Coach Cardinal and the Cardinal Huskies are good enough to join us. Valley Division portion of the CVC kickoff. Coach, you want to introduce these young men, or we want to let them take the mic themselves?
Okay. Trey Shirkey to my right, junior. Matt Carney in the middle, junior. And Cam Klepper, diminutive nose tackle, senior, very quick, down on the end.
All right, Trey, let's start with you. First of all, thanks for coming out. I know it's not exactly around the corner for you guys, so we appreciate it. Tell me a little bit about this team. Coach talked about, you got to stay healthy with numbers being a little low, but what do you like about this team?
We work as a family, not just like a football team. We play as a family and brothers. And if someone gets down, we all know we got each other's back, and we're going to be pretty effective this year.
Obviously, it's a very competitive conference, and I'm sure, Cuyahoga Heights and Kirtland get most of the talk, but there's some really good teams up and coming, and I know you want to be competitive every game. Yeah. Just talk about playing in that division and that grind every week.
Well, it's tough because we're a smaller school, and some of the bigger teams probably look at us and say that's going to be an easy game, but this year we're going to hit them right in the mouth.
What's key? What's got to happen this year for you guys to be successful?
We got to stay healthy and execute.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up for the Huskies, go ahead and just reintroduce just your name.
I'm Matt Carney.
Matt, this team this year, how would you describe this team? Just from a personality description, the strength, what do you like about this year's team?
We all have the same goal in the end, and that's to go into every game with a positive attitude and look to win and execute on every play.
This is Coach talked about, having to stay healthy, numbers, but no excuses. You want to hear about that. Has that been the mentality? Does that put a little chip on your shoulder when, hey, we don't have a big team, but we can still win football games?
Yeah, we all want to go out there, and we don't want to take that necessarily as a burden, but a challenge, and just go out there and play every play as hard as you would, even if we didn't have that problem.
Is it key to get off to a good start? I mean, I've never had anybody stay up here and go, no, we don't care if we get off to a bad start. But is it important, maybe from a confidence perspective, to get off to a good start this year?
I would say it is, but I think we got to execute on every play and make sure that we know what we're doing on every play and just start off, like you said, start off with a win.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Cam Klepper.
Talk to me a little bit about this year's team. Differences, what you like about this group.
Differences, we didn't really lose a lot last year if you think about it. I like how we're all pretty much brothers. We're always together, and we share a lot of the same qualities as people, I guess.
Coach mentioned nose guard, and not the biggest nose guard ever, but talk about how do you utilize your speed? Is that one of the things you try and do up front?
Yeah, I kind of just go underneath people, I guess.
Okay. What's going to have to happen for the Huskies to have a good season? What are some keys?
Like Trey said and a lot of other people said, stay healthy and pretty much just not give up throughout the season.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and give the coach the mic back. Again, we're with the Cardinal Huskies, and we are kicking off the CVC portion of the Valley portion of things. Coach, if you could look in a crystal ball and at midway point or the end of the season, what are your expectations, your goals? What do you want to see out of this group this year?
Well, everyone that plays football, their goal is to win all their games. I mean, if your goal is to go 5-5 to start, that says something right there.
Yeah.
If you happen to lose a game, then you want to be 9-1. If you happen to lose another game, you want to be 8-2. So our goal is to take it week by week. Our biggest game on our schedule is the Garfield G-Men. Had a deep playoff run last year. I don't know what they have this year. We haven't scouted them or anything like that. But we want to compete with them and then pick ourselves up after winning that game and compete this week too. So I mean, it's just a week by week thing, and I know that's coach speak, but it's absolutely true. Coach Laverty said it. You can't think about the state championship. We can't think about a winning record or the conference championship until you win that first game. So yeah, it's obviously important to compete to win.
Coach, I can't let you go until I ask you about pretty special circumstance, and it was on going to be on the news tonight, I believe, Fox 8, and you had some heroic efforts out of some of your men. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, we did. We take an annual canoe trip at the end of the summer before we start our double sessions and take a 10-mile canoe trip down the Cuyahoga River, and we did that this year in late July, and we got about 9/10 of the way down the river, and there was an older couple, I think they were in their 70s, in distress. They had kind of gone bad on the rapids, and the gentleman was sitting in the river, and 4 of our guys jumped out of their canoes and helped the man to his feet and got the canoe and helped his wife to the shore and sent them on their way. And we went on our way and finished it up and told the people at the canoe livery all about it and came home and sort of forgot about it. But the family that our boys rescued were so taken with that they contacted some media and contacted our superintendent and things like that, and it snowballed from there. Yes, we were on TV, and I guess we're going to be on TV again about that, and that's great. But I'm just happy that family was able to get out of the river in good shape.
Absolutely. What a cool story, and congratulations to the young men who jumped in, and good for that family, and good for them getting a little bit of well-deserved exposure for that. So that's a great off-season story. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Long ride. Good luck to you this year, and hopefully we'll see you again down the road, okay?
Okay, thanks a lot for having us.
Coach Cardinal and the
All right,
Huskies,
bye.
thank you very much. Good job, guys. All right, we're going to close up the CVC Valley with the Richmond Heights Spartans. Again, recording this for podcast, which will be available on SoundCloud, on YouTube, on Facebook. We'll have links to it on Twitter. Any which way you want to cut it up. And away we go with our final team. It is the Richmond Heights Spartans and new coach. Coach, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Coach Gorham, Tim Gorham.
And Coach, talk to me about this program and taking over, and just what you like about the Spartans this season.
Well, you're looking at what I like right here. We have fun together. We're building a family atmosphere. Last year, we were the doorstops for everybody. Hopefully, we'll be changing that soon, starting week 1 with Richmond.
Yeah, I mean, tough year last year. We don't have to worry about that, but obviously some good-looking athletes with you tonight. I mean, talk about this team's strengths. What if you're going to do well, what are some of the things that are going to come across on the field?
We're going to have to eliminate mistakes. We're going to have to handle adversity, persevere, and use what we have, our God-given gifts.
As far as numbers are concerned, is health something that's going to have to play your way? Because, I mean, I know not a ton of depth, right, on that team.
We have about 25 guys.
Okay.
but we can't lose our main four, which is sitting in front of you now.
Yeah.
The best thing happened for us is a lot of our guys got experience last year. So they got a lot of playing time, and they got a sore taste in their mouth from losing.
Sure.
So they're eager to get back out there and prove that they're better than 0-10, and I just want to be there when it happens.
Love that. If you're competitive, you just want to get that taste out of your mouth. So, Coach, you want to introduce them? You want to let them introduce themselves? I'll leave that up to you.
I'll let them speak.
Okay. Just give me your name, your year, and your position.
Malik Tucker, senior, running back and wide receiver.
So talk to me about just motivation. Just, obviously last year is not a year you want to focus on. So moving forward, how do you get rid of that bad taste from last year?
We've been hitting the weight room, practicing hard. We just competing, ready to get back out there and play.
Do you feel like, forget last year and the record and what anybody else thinks about the program, do you guys feel like you have the talent to compete and be a good football team this year?
I feel like we can compete with anybody in our league, in our division.
What's the key to that? What's got to happen for that to occur?
No mistakes. You got to compete, go hard every play. Fight through adversity.
All right. Go ahead and get that mic to you, mate.
Douglas Hooks. I'm a senior quarterback.
This senior class obviously, wants to change things, right? I mean, you want to change the way things have been going. How do you do that? Is it important to be tight and be together when you're doing that?
It's very important to become a family, become one. And because we become one, we're going to fight for each other, have each other's back throughout the whole season and everything. We get off the field, on the field, and just have each other become one as a family.
How is the attitude and the enthusiasm been? Because I know sometimes when you have a season like that, it's hard to get guys excited, but it seems like, you guys are ready to go.
It's hard when it happens like that, but we ain't no choice but to get back at it and get better, go out there and work every day and do what we got to do to become better and become great.
I'm not asking you to reveal any secrets or X's and O's, but offensively, defensively, what are some of the keys this year if it's going to be a good season?
Some of the keys, just running.
Okay.
We can run.
Sometimes, hey, if you can do it effectively, you don't have to be fancy with it, right? Yeah, go ahead and pass that down. Thank you. All right, next up for the Spartans.
Ramon Henderson, senior, linebacker and guard.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about this year's team. What do you like about this team that you've seen in the summer and in the offseason?
This year's team, I'm a friendly kind of guy, so I'm kind of cool with everybody on the team. I don't like to see all the, I like to see them get aggressive, but not, to the point where, it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
But, that's really it.
Tell me about keys to the season. What's got to happen for Richmond Heights to have some success?
We have to block up front and pretty much run plays effectively and aggressively, so,
Getting off to a good start. Anytime you have a season like last year, I think just getting that first win is going to be key. Is it important to try and get off to a fast start this season?
Yeah, it's actually very effective because if we get off to a good start, maybe that could, show all of the guys that we could really do it and pretty much win more.
Carry over a little momentum, right? Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down. Last up for the Spartans. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sincere Mills, senior.
Tell me a little bit about this team and the strengths, what you like about this team.
Our defense this year is better than the defense last year.
Important, again, same question. From a momentum standpoint, good to get off to a good start. How important is that first Friday night?
It's very important. We got to get the dub.
And as far as your goals and expectations for this team this year, what do you want to see out of this group? What are your expectations?
I want to see great work ethic and hard work.
All right. Go ahead and pass the mic down. Let's get Coach in here one more time. Coach, hopefully this won't be the last time we see you, down the road. What are some of the things you want to see out of this group this year? What are going to be for you to be satisfied, whether it's in wins and losses, whether it's in getting better? What do you need to see out of this group?
We have to compete from the beginning to the end. We have to grow from week 1 to week 2, all the way through week 10. And we want wins. We play to win. That's what we're here for. We don't want to play just to be in a game. We plan on winning.
This is, obviously a team that I'm sure motivation, you won't have to give them a lot of rah-rah speeches because last year you don't want that feeling again. Is that something you've seen from these guys in practice in two-a-days that, hey, they want to go out and show, hey, we're better than we were last year?
Yeah, they can't wait to get on the field. Like I say, prove that 0-10 was a fluke. They're ready to go, and I can't wait to see it.
Well, Coach, it was a pleasure meeting you guys. Hopefully we'll have you back when we do our regular show on Mondays. You're welcome anytime. Good luck this year, okay?
Thanks for
being
having
here
us.
tonight. All right, that's the Richmond Heights Spartans. Thanks to Coach and his guys for coming up. All right. So that concludes the CVC Valley portion of the kickoff show. Again, you can find that Facebook, YouTube. I'll tweet out the link. All right. Good luck to all the Valley teams. We're running a little late because it's tough to get 8 teams in that short amount of time. We're going to start off with West G. Come on up. All right. So we start now with the CVC Chagrin. And first up is the West Geuaga Wolverines, and they have a new head coach. Coach, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm Brian Kramer. Like you said, it's my first year here at West Geuaga. So.
And Coach is not unfamiliar with the area or the league. He was with the Harvey Red Raiders and now is with West G. Coach, opportunity to take over program. I know you did some great things at Harvey, but what was the decision for you, and just kind of how's the transition been for you?
Well, it was a great opportunity, and when it was presented to me and I was approached, it was something I gave careful consideration to. But, it's a great district, and just being close back to the county I grew up in and my folks and family, it was a no-brainer. So I'm excited about it. And, so far the transition, it's been going well. It's for the kids, it's been, I won't say tough, but it's a transition. Coach Serena was a great coach, as we all know, and I brought with me a totally new offense and defensive system, that the kids are having to adapt to. So, so far it's been going very well.
Coach, talk to me about this group. West Geuaga has had success in the past, in the very recent past. I know it's a program that has high standards, and I'm sure you don't mind as a competitor walking into that situation. What have you seen out of the 2017 group? What are some of the things you like about this team?
Well, it's a junior, senior heavy team, which is great, for this next couple years. One thing that I've always said about West Geuaga is, the time and effort that they put into the weight room in the off season definitely shows on the field, and that's very indicative of West Geuaga and very much so of this team. So, coming in, again, I feel like there's a lot of pieces in place. Like you said, they do have high standards there, and as a coach coming in, I just want to elevate it from where it's at. It's not like I'm rebuilding or having to restart anything, start anything over, but you just want to take a program like this and take it to that next level. I don't want to stay where we're at. I want to continue to raise that bar and truly be, one of the upper echelon Division IV teams.
Coach, before we get to the guys, coming off of a 6-4 season, which is okay in a lot of places, but obviously, how do you take the next step? How do you get back to the postseason? Is there, I don't know if there's just one thing you just click your fingers or one little thing, but do you feel like when you look at this team, they're close to being that next level, to being a postseason team?
To be completely honest, we have enough talent to be in the playoffs. We have enough kids at the right positions. We're muscled up, we're fast, we're strong, we're smart football players. But it's just the grind. Any coach will tell you that it's the little things that'll define us this year. Who's willing to go the extra mile? Who's willing to do the little things and sacrifice for their teammates? And that's as true as it can be. That's how we'll get back to that level and beyond this year. Is just doing the little things right.
Coach, go ahead. You want to introduce who you brought up, or you want to let them do it?
I'll hand him the mic if that's all right.
That's fine. Here we go. First up.
AJ Caniglio. I'm a senior, and I play safety and wide receiver.
So, AJ, just real quick, how was the transition been to a new coach? I know Coach Sereno was there for quite a while. A lot of success with him. Wish him the best at his new spot. But now, Coach Kramer, just talk a little bit about transitioning to a new coach.
I thought it was really easy. We just wanted to keep strong mentality and still make sure to go strong in the off season. And it was just really easy. I mean, Coach Kramer's a really nice guy, and he's easy to work with, and a lot of his concepts are really good. And it's a change of pace offensively for the better, I feel. Definitely, we get a lot more action, but I didn't really find it difficult. You just got to make the best of every situation you're put in.
6-4 last year, but you end winning 2 of your last 3, beating a Wycliffe team that made the playoffs, and then Chagrin Falls in kind of a rivalry game. Did you find that there was like some momentum and some pretty positive vibes going into the off season?
Yeah, definitely, because we've always been, our class personally, we've always been a pretty good team, and last year it was a lot of our first times getting experience on varsity, so definitely finishing up the season strong led into a good off season and a lot of motivation for the coming up season.
Keys to this year, just if you had to say, if this goes well, we'll be okay. What's going to have to happen for West G?
Just guys knowing their jobs and responsibilities and just keeping good attitudes. And, that's about it. Just staying positive.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up for West Geuaga.
Hi, Tyler Hackman, corners, senior year.
Tyler, this is a team obviously with a little bit of changeover with the head coach, but what do you like about this team? When you see in the offseason and the summer, what are some of the strengths of this football team?
Well, I think the senior class is going to be very good. I like how our offense basically scores at will. This offense is going to be very great this year, I think.
This is a group that has known a lot of success. Do you feel that nothing has changed? A coach comes in and obviously he wants to win. He just said you guys can get back to the playoffs. What do you see moving forward as far as the transition to Coach Kramer?
Well, I think it's definitely a lot of new stuff with Coach Kramer, and I definitely like it for the better. I think everything with him is going to be better than just last year. The entire offense and defense, I think, has improved tremendously.
What are the keys then? How do you get a past 6-4 challenge for the league? Maybe get back to the postseason. What's going to have to happen this year?
Well, we have a lot of seniors this year, coming back because we were mainly juniors last year. But I think this year, us senior class, we just really want to work and we really want to be that team.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up for West Geuaga.
I'm Nathaniel Grabinski. I'm a senior and I play center.
Well, since you guys never get to talk about the guys up front, go ahead and talk about the line this year. We know that West G is always going to have skilled guys on both sides of the ball. Talk about the big guys.
Yeah, well, I think we have a really good line this year. We have 3 returning starters from last year and then 2 other seniors on the other side, so we got a lot of experience.
Hold the mic a little closer so we can hear you. There we go.
Yeah, we have a lot of experience, and the new system, we've learned it pretty quickly, and it's all just it's coming together really nicely, I think.
When you're in a league that's so competitive and deep and you see all these teams and coaches and players around here, how important is the non-conference? Because you got to get those computer points. It's a grind every single week. So how important is it to get off to a quick start?
Well, I think a lot of the seniors, our goal is out in varsity. For our entire time, we've never beat Chardon, and we're just really working towards that. We really want to beat them this year.
Goals, expectations, keys for this year. Is it a challenge for the league? Is it to get back to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think we should definitely be a playoff team this year. We just gotta. The key to that is just staying focused and staying healthy. Coach has been on us a lot because we've been messing around too much, during practice, and we just need to lock in.
All right, pass that down. Coach Kramer, we'll close this up with you. Coach, talk, if you can, just very quickly about 2017 and, in your first year, you want to win. There is no getting to know you period. The league's too tough. You're not there just to see guys put on the helmet and roll the ball out. What do you want to see out of this group for the next 13, 14 weeks?
It starts, tomorrow. It's a sense of urgency, and that's the way I've had to approach this. Not having a long off season, everything's a sense of urgency. We can't be complacent. We can't have a bad practice. We can't have a bad day. We can't be mentally lax. So it's all those little things coming with a sense of urgency. Because Chardon doesn't care that they didn't have a head coach for 9 weeks. NDCL doesn't care that this is a big transition. So we have to have that attitude, and just our focus right now is no matter where we're at, we're going to get better by the next day. So it's a day-to-day focus that we have.
Well, guys, I appreciate you being here and being patient. And like I said, when we do this on our normal Monday nights during the season, hopefully you'll come back and see us again. So thanks so much. Good luck this year.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach Kramer. Coach Kramer and the West Geuaga Wolverines. Coach I, come on up. Next up is Chagrin Falls. We have Perry. We have Beachwood on deck. Just trying to go in some semblance of a rival order here, folks. Bear with me. Chagrin, then Perry, then Beachwood. All right, Coach I and his guys are coming up to the stage next. How you doing, sir? Go ahead and grab that microphone. And away we go with Chagrin Falls in the Chagrin portion of the CVC football showcase. Coach has been up here a time or two, or 10 or 200, and driven that long way, and I appreciate every time he's out here, and tonight is no different. Coach, thanks for being here. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Coach Mark Imarino from Chagrin Falls. Want to make sure I get that on for the podcast. Coach, we'll just jump right into it. And last year, obviously, was frustrating from a standpoint of we know Chagrin Falls been to 2 state title games, perennial in the playoffs. You've been doing this a long time. And to start out 0-4 was rough. Came back then with 4 of the next 5. Didn't finish the way you wanted, but 4-6. At the end of the day, how do you look back and assess last year, and how does that motivate your guys for this season?
Well, I think we came a long way last year, especially, as you said, starting off 0-4. Our first 6 games were against 5 playoff teams, some very, very good football teams. And we continued to improve as the year went on. And I felt like we finished very strong. And so, as for us, we talked about, taking our game to the next level. And so that's been our focus this year is next level up, continue the improvement from last year, the second half of the season. It started in the off season. The 5 guys that I brought here today are 5 senior leaders who were just absolutely outstanding for us in the off season, in the weightlifting and training stuff. And, so for us, it's simply that. It's the next level up. It's continuing on improvement from last year.
Coach, you've been doing this at Chagrin Falls with a tremendous amount of success for a long time. When you look at this team, does this team have the characteristics that you like that, boy, if things come together for us, we have a chance to be pretty successful this season?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give them a big head early. But just if you look at things like work ethic, athletic ability, intelligence, football intelligence, team camaraderie, all of those things that I think are really important, those components are there. Now, you have to get lucky. You have to stay healthy. You have to win close games. You have to do a number of those factors, and that doesn't happen by accident. So the start is there. The makings of a good football team certainly is there, and a successful season is there. We just have to go out and do it.
Coach, since you got 5 guys, I want to make sure everybody gets in. So, guys, I apologize ahead of time if I don't give you as many questions as some of the other guys got, but we got to go a little quicker to make sure everybody gets in. When you get the mic, do me a favor, introduce yourself, your name, your year, and your position. All right? The Tigers, and first up, go ahead.
Christoph Santic, senior quarterback and inside linebacker.
Talk to me a little bit about motivation off season. Chagrin Falls is not used to 4-6 seasons, so I'm sure you guys couldn't wait to get going again this year. How has the off season been?
It's been really good. 3 days a week working out. Every day we're thinking about opening the season against Kirtland, and then obviously ending it with West G, which is a big game for us.
This is a group that I'm sure wants to prove something after last year. And in this league, I mean, it's every week. I always kid with Coach, you guys got more rivals than anybody. I mean, it just seems that way. Do you like having that kind of schedule?
Yeah, it's awesome. I love playing rivalry games because, it's so competitive between the 2 teams. It's so fun just competing against teams that are very good.
All right, appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up for Chagrin Falls.
I'm Sam Gazudis. I'm a middle linebacker and a running back, and I'm a senior.
So if you had to describe this team, personality, strengths, that type of thing, what would you say is, how would you describe Chagrin Falls this year?
Well, this year, I think we have a lot of great characters. We have a lot of great friendships among the team, and I think the closeness will help us win games, as well as push each other to work harder. I mean, the athletic ability is also there, but more of characteristics, I think we're all just, like, very cohesive as a group.
What's the key to the season, in your opinion? What's got to happen for Chagrin Falls to be successful?
Well, we don't have the biggest kids, but I think we have great coaching, and it really comes down to execution for us. If we can execute and make plays, then I think we can win games.
All right, appreciate it. Pass that down. Next up.
I'm Pat Holland. I play running back, and I'm a senior, and I play corner as well.
This is a program that's just so used to winning. So when you come off a season like last year, do you try to just ignore it, or do you use it as motivation moving into this year?
I think you have to use it as motivation. It's something that drives you in the off season. I think it's something we think about when we work out. I think it's something we have to look upon. You can't forget the past, and I think we've got to look on our past and try to move forward and win this year.
Open with Kirtland at home. That's a huge non-conference way to start. Important to get off to a good start. I mean, like I said to somebody else, nobody has ever said, no, we don't care how we start. But I guess what I mean is just to gain some momentum because of last year. How important is a quick start for you guys?
Yeah, we went 0-4 last year, so that's the worst way you could start off. So I think if we can beat Kirtland at home, I think it'd be a good momentum and drive us for the rest of the season and propel us the rest of the way.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down. Again, Chagrin Falls is joining us. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Nick DeFiore, senior, D lineman, and tight end.
Tell me a little bit about the defense. I usually just ask about offense and quarterbacks and running backs. Tell me about your defense this year.
So I think we have a lot of guys who fly to the ball. We have some speed and a lot of physicality, I think. I mean, we might not have the biggest guys on our team, but I feel like with speed and physicality, those are two important aspects of the game also.
Just overall, I mean, to have a successful season, because the schedule is anything but easy, what's it going to take for you guys to return to where you're used to being?
Well, our motto has always been, ever since we've been freshmen here, it's Team CVC November. So we got to become a team first, and then win the CVC is our goal, and then play in November in the playoffs.
Appreciate it. I think we got one more. One more Tiger. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Cade Salyers. I play receiver and outside linebacker, and I'm a senior.
What, when you look at this team, what you've seen in the offseason, what you've seen in the summer, I don't know if you guys scrimmaged today or not, but what you've seen so far, what do you like about this team? What are the positives?
I really like our running game. I think our running game is very strong.
This is Coach with an unbelievable resume. I mean, the program, the names, the guys, I'm sure you see it on the walls, the locker rooms. That sense of pride, does that play into the motivation when you come off of a year like 4 and 6?
Yeah, it does. We find Coach as a very inspirational person. He really, gives us the motivation to, do well and practice as hard as we can.
All right, appreciate it. Let's get Coach back in here. Sorry, guys, I want to go quick with you, but everybody wants to get on as soon as we can. Coach, just this year, if you had to sum up the musts, if you will, I mean, Bill, this must happen. There's not a maybe on this. We're going to, see the Tigers back competing for that league championship and a spot in the postseason. What must happen?
Well, I think, number one, we need to stay healthy. I think we have a very strong senior group, veteran senior group with a lot of experience. We bring a lot of players back. So we need to make sure that those guys are playing, 10 full games. I think we have to use our speed and our quickness as an asset for ourselves. But also, like I said, I think we have to get back into the situation where you win in those close games, making sure that you believe in themselves. And these guys, they just need to get off to a great start. And I think that's important, obviously, challenging with the schedule that we play, but I think that's very important to reinforce that all of the hard work that they've been doing is going in the right direction.
Well, Coach, it's always good seeing you guys, and It goes without saying I'll be bugging you to come up here during the season on our regular Monday. So good luck to you. Great first game, folks. August 25th at Chagrin CS Harris Stadium. Kirtland, Chagrin should be a real good one. Guys, thanks a lot. I appreciate
Thanks, Bill.
it. All right. We're just having some fun. Coach, how are you, man? Good. Go ahead and introduce yourself. New coach at Harvey? Yes. Good. Grab that mic and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Dan Svalbar. This is my first year at Painesville Harvey. Been there now 8 years, so excited about the opportunity here and can't wait to get it rolling.
Coach, give me a little blanket statement on the 2017, the Raiders. When you look at this group, what are the positives? What are the strengths? What do you like about this team?
I really like the attitude of our guys that we have here, the upperclassmen. You know, we had a lot of 6 a.m. voluntary workouts that we had about 20 kids participate in those. So it's great to see those kinds of things coming from our group and really to have that attitude going into our two-a-days and our scrimmages is going to be a good opportunity for us.
Again, and I did this with the other teams. I'm not trying to belabor the point, but obviously last year record-wise didn't go the way you guys wanted. Do you use that as motivation going into this season?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think the people that we have here didn't really like getting their teeth kicked in every week. So, our kids are going to be excited for this opportunity to get a little better. I think they use that as motivation throughout the summertime and really did a good job of working together and making themselves a better unit this year.
You want to introduce your guys, Coach, or you want to let them do it?
We have Isaac Mendez. He is a senior running back linebacker. We have Josh Kinder here, who's a senior offense and defensive lineman, and Dwayne Grimes, also a senior running back and cornerback.
All right. Go ahead and pass that mic down. Let's get these guys in. They've been waiting patiently. Isaac, thanks a lot for being here, man. Appreciate it. And tell me a little bit about this team, this group. When you see the offseason and the summer, and I don't know if you scrimmaged today, but what do you like about what you've seen so far?
I mean, we're like a really, really close team. We do everything together pretty much.
Okay. No, that's good. You're good. What? Give me some keys, some things that just like absolutely have to happen to turn around what happened last year.
I mean, teamwork is really crucial. We also have this saying on defense where we go control chaos, which is where we have to control the defense. We have to control the offense and make sure that we're controlled and cause as much chaos for the offense as possible.
Important to get off to a good start after last year. Maybe just get a little momentum built up early on in the year.
Yeah, it's very important.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up, go ahead and introduce yourself. Just your name.
I'm Josh Kinder.
Josh, this is a group with, athletes. You know, you got a coach that's very excited about the season. What's the attitude like among the team in the locker room? How excited are you guys for this year?
We're very amped for the season, and we're just ready to get out there and win.
And do you use last year as that chip on the shoulder, that motivation, like, hey, we're better than that?
Yeah.
What's going to be key then to turning this thing around?
A lot more teamwork, more of a unit. Not trying to be solo players out there, trying to be a team.
Okay. Great. Pass it down. Next up. One more for Harvey. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Dwayne Grimes. I'm a running back and a cornerback.
So, talk to me about strengths of the team. Is it speed? Is it athleticism? They talked about teammates and family, but what do you like about this team?
We most definitely stay together, we're a very fast team. We like to take things fast-paced, but it's things that we can work on. Practices sometimes go slow. We got to pick up the intensity and keep it going.
What would you say is the most important aspect of this team that's got to happen if you guys are going to have a good year? Like, what is an absolute must for this season?
We just got to stay together. I know last year we'd be in the game in the first half, and then the second half everybody get disappointed in what's happening, and we just got to stay together and score.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. Let's get Coach back in here, Coach Felbar and the Harvey Red Raiders. Coach, I don't know if coaches think of things like that. Maybe it's just us dumb media guys, but I would think getting off to a good start, competitive, winning some football games as a momentum to get rid of the taste from last year. Is that important? Do you guys think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the face of the game changes week to week, and in week 1 is different than week 10, but to get off on that right foot is something critical. Not to say that you can't rebound, but you want to get that first win in, especially those seniors that are chomping at the bit, ready to get out there on the Friday night. We play Berkshire week 1, tough opponent, so we're excited for that opportunity, and it's as critical as they get. And the next week's as critical as the last one too. So,
Coach, I really appreciate you guys coming out and being patient with us. We'll get you back up here on a Monday. Like I said, we're here every single Monday, so I won't ask you every Monday, but we'll get you back here a couple times. Thanks so much for being here tonight. All right, good luck this year, guys. That's the Harvey Red Raiders. Good job, guys. Next up, one of our regulars in the Perry Pirates. All right, so next up, he is almost always here on Monday nights, usually second up if you're looking for the time slot for the Pirates. We try and get him right after the kickoff team. It is Coach Matt Rosati and the Perry Pirates who enjoyed themselves a historic 2016, and they have a big act to follow. Coach, first of all, thanks for being here. It's always good to see you. How's the summer?
Excellent, Bill. Thanks so much for having us out tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those, we have a lot of teams, so somebody's going to have to go late, so I will apologize to the ones still waiting, but we'll get to you as soon as we can.
Nope.
Coach, I mean, you can't top 10-0. I mean, that you can't top. You could have went 15-0, and that would have been the only way. But to go 13-1 to get to the state semis, I mean, can you step back now and look at it and what you achieved as opposed to maybe that long bus ride home after losing to Steubenville in the state semi?
I can.
Yeah.
And there was a point in time, actually, right before we started two-a-days where I really was able to look back and say, wow, we had a really nice run. The kids were great. And, to think back down the stretch, it was really a lot of fun.
It was about as impressive, folks, as you're going to get, and especially in conference. I mean, a couple of close ones here or there, and then the exciting overtime game against Woodridge. And, Coach, what do you feel like the guys, that were part of that, who just, I don't care if they were in uniform or practice with you every week or took the bus rides or whatever the case, how does that benefit guys like that?
It benefits so much. And Coach Imarino, he had a great stretch where those guys played 15 games. Coach Laverty, always, playing 15 games. That makes such a difference for your football program. These kids are really experienced. It's sort of like we just picked up right where we left off from a practice aspect of things. Kids know where to go. They know what to do. It makes such a big difference. So it's very, very helpful.
Coach, this year's team, like I said, very hard act to follow, but I know the young man sitting to your right, we're going to get to him in a second. He's about as good as anybody in the area. And does this team have that potential? Does this team have that look to you to maybe take another run at what you guys did last year?
It does on paper, Bill. The biggest thing for this group is that we're going to have to really focus in on the small little things. We can't beat ourselves, but on paper, this is it really is the best group that I've ever had on paper. But how they actually come out and perform, that's a whole other thing, and we have a lot of work to do, a lot of work ahead of us.
Well, that's saying something if this is the best group, because you've had some good ones in your career, and I've covered plenty of them. So go ahead and pass the mic. Let's let these guys introduce themselves. Guys, with 60, I'm going to go kind of quicker than I normally would, so about like 1 or 2 questions each. Go ahead and introduce yourself. You've done this before.
Yep, Colston Brewster, quarterback.
Colston is, again, one of the top players in the area, was as a junior. Now he's back. Senior year, after what you did last year, I mean, how exciting is it to just lead this team, lead this offense?
Incredible. We have a great offense this year and last year, and we're going to do great things this year.
Is it tough after what you did last year? Are the expectations just off the charts, or do you guys welcome those kind of challenges?
We definitely welcome them. We like challenges, and we set our bar high, and we do everything we can to reach them.
Coach, I'm going to ask you the same question, which is, you're not going to give me X's and O's on never, but just from what you've seen off-season in the summer, does this team have the potential to do what last year's team did, or maybe even go a step further?
For sure. We have the ability to go as far as we want, as far as we allow ourselves to do, and hopefully we can get to that last game in the state, and I believe we can do it.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Let's pass that down. Again, it's a CVC showcase, and we are with the CVC Chagrin Division champions, 10-0 last year, Perry Pirates. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Nick Mason.
Just talk to me about that experience last year and just going through that. And 10-game grind, winning an overtime game in the playoffs, getting to the state semis. I mean, what was that experience like for you?
The experience, it was incredible. I mean, like Colson said, it was a great run we had every game. We took it one game at a time. We just pushed ourselves to the limit every time, and, you know, we ended up making it as far as we did, and it was just truly an amazing feeling.
13-1, I mean, I guess there's no way to think you can just be happy with that. You wanted to do the whole thing, go 15-0. So what was the motivation like this offseason for you guys?
The motivation, I mean, just falling short of our goal from last year, just to make it to our goal this year of making it to the state championship game.
Quickly, just some keys to this season.
Keys, just no mental errors. We got to play every down, and just like I said, no mental errors. That's our main thing this year.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up.
Jacob Allen, safety.
Jacob, this is a team who's obviously very confident and with a lot of reason to be so. What expectations, I mean, is it what last year's team did? I mean, are you playing in the shadow of last year's team, or are you guys trying to, like, make your own identity this year?
Definitely make our own identity. We can be better than we were last year, and we should be able to make it all the way.
You know, you win the CVC, obviously when you go 10-0, the league title is the first of many steps along the way. Is that, again, what it is? You got to take care of business in the league and then worry about the rest of it as you go along?
Yeah, we need to take care of business, of course, make it to the playoffs so we can do what we want to do, because we want to make it all the way this year and not fall short.
I think people know a lot of strengths of this team because they saw it last year, but what's the key? What's going to have to happen this year to repeat what you did last year?
We got to work harder and be more dedicated and actually be more physical.
All right, pass it down. Guys, after him, you're going to have to come around this way because the cord's not going to stretch. All right, go ahead. Next up, introduce yourself.
Ian Walker, corner.
Ian, what are the things that really pop off to you when you see this team in practice, you know, scrimmages, 2-a-days, 7-on-7s? What are the things that you really like about this team?
The dedication, how many people come every day ready to work, and getting it done in the weight room every day.
It's a good league. It's a good non-conference schedule, but you had no problem with it last year. What are the keys to success this season?
Like Jacob said, being physical, you know, working hard every day, no days off. Treating every game like it's a state championship, you know, not letting up on any team, even if we're supposed to be better than them. So.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down. Let's get the next couple guys in. Introduce yourself.
Ryan Burko, defensive end.
Ryan, tell me about this defense this year. I mean, I think everybody knows Coach Rosati's teams and the offenses can score, you know, with Colston at quarterback. But talk about the defense this season.
We're going to be good. We're going to make tackles, make plays. Nothing else to it.
That's the best answer all night. What's going to have to happen, though? Like, what are musts? Is it staying healthy? Is it just playing your kind of football? What's going to have to happen for you to have another good season?
We have to be more physical than them. And just...
No, you're fine. Yeah. No, you're fine. You're fine. What have you seen so far this summer in the offseason that makes you think you can repeat, if not do better than last year?
We're bigger and stronger. Just overall. And
Perfect.
We're better.
All right. Easy enough. Go ahead and pass the microphone. Next up.
Jalen Anderson, running back.
Talk to me a little bit about this team. How is this team different than last year's team, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think this year's team is more faster.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. More faster and stronger.
All right. What do you need to see out of this team to know that you guys continuously are improving, taking that next step?
Less mental mistakes. Yeah, more physicality.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Let's get Coach Rosati back in here, wrap up the Perry Pirates. Coach, like I said, a lot of expectations to live up to. I'm sure you have your own internally with your staff. Just what do you want to see the rest of this summer and into that first week? What are the things that, you know, you don't want to see any signals that you've taken any regression at all, that this is a team moving forward?
Well, Bill, the biggest thing is that we have to get better. We scrimmaged today. We're going to have to do better tomorrow than what we did today. So we have to see that improvement every single day. We can't rest on our laurels. This is a new group, a new team, and they need to be focused, and they need to understand that nothing's given. We're going to have to work very, very hard in order to have success.
Coach, I really appreciate it. We'll see you on Mondays for sure. And hopefully you guys can repeat what you did last year, so best of luck to you.
Bill,
all right?
thanks so much. And I want to thank Mr. Lewis here, our new commissioner, our CVC commissioner. He's done a great job putting this event together. And, Bill, I really thank you for taking the bull by the horns and hosting the first CVC Media Day.
Appreciate it, yeah.
Hopefully it's a success.
Yeah, hopefully everybody's enjoying it. I'm trying to go as quickly as I can to get everybody in and out of here, so we'll see where we go from here. But thanks, and I'll see you in a couple
Thanks,
Mondays.
Bill. I'll talk
all
to you
right?
soon.
Thank you. That's the Perry Pirates. Beachwood, come on up. Orange and Geneva, I swear to God, we're going to flip a coin and next one up, and then whoever doesn't come up, I'll buy them something at the end. How about that? I don't know. All right. So next up, the Beachwood Bison are with us, and we're thrilled to have them. Coach, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Damian Creel, third year entering head coach at Beachwood.
Coach, looking at last year, obviously would have liked a few more wins, but progression, building. What did you see some things last year moving forward that are positives that you feel like you can use going into 2017?
Yeah, we had great positive. We lost our first 2 games last year in the last minute of the game. So if we got those 2 wins, we were 5-5. So, we're building this thing brick by brick. It's going to take time. We got a new stadium built. We're playing under the lights for the first time in school history. So we got a lot of excitement going on where we're at, and just got to keep plugging away.
Coach, when you look at the 2017 team, the positives, not the positives, excuse me, the characteristic, the personality, what do you like about this group? How would you describe Beachwood to someone who hasn't seen you play?
We got a close-knit group. Seniors, we got 6 seniors on our team, and they're all very close. The biggest characteristic our guys have, we're going to fight. Wherever we have to go to play, whoever we have to play, you're going to see a team that's willing to compete and never give up.
Coach, before we get to the guys, just give me some keys to this season. If the 2017 Bison are going to have a good year, how's that? What's going to have to happen for you?
Well, being a small fish in a big pond, being a D5 school, having to play Division III and IV schools, our number one thing with numbers is staying healthy. We have to stay healthy. And if we stay healthy, that gives us the best chance to win. So staying healthy is our biggest goal. And just competing. That's the number one thing I want my kids to do, to compete. They compete on the field, they're going to compete in life. And ultimately, that's why we're here, to get these guys to be better citizens, brothers, sons. And, again, compete is what we're about.
Coach, you want to go ahead and let these guys introduce themselves? How many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 of you? Okay, all right. Go ahead. Give me your name, your year, and your position.
Ben Connor, senior quarterback.
Ben, so obviously you're running the show on offense, and it's a very important position. Talk about your offense. What do you like about it? What are some of the strengths of the Beachwood offense this year?
Well, I think one of our strengths is our offensive line. I think really it's such a tight-knit and such a close group on the team. It really shows whether the game that we're playing is going to – if the offensive line does well, then we do well, if that makes sense.
What have you seen in the offseason, in the summer, in 2 days, if you had a scrimmage today? What have you seen that kind of pops off the field that you really like about this team? What would you say are the real positives, the strengths about this group?
Well, we do have limited numbers, and it's nice to see that in practice or just whenever we're doing, whenever everyone gives their all, it's just such a momentum booster that I think that whenever we work hard and together, we could do anything.
Keys for this season?
Keys. I think that defense is a very big key. I think that each day at practice we're getting even more comfortable with our positions, and I think that's going to lead to a really good season.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up for Beachwood, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Zach Zhang, senior linebacker, O-line, D-line.
So I just asked about the offense. Tell me a little bit about the defense this year. What are some of the keys for you guys?
The keys for us is just swarming to the ball, getting 11 hats to the ball, and also knowing our X's and O's. I think this year the defense has more of a bond than any other previous years before, because we've all played together like when we were young. So I think that's a key.
Coach talked about losing those couple games in just last second heartbreaking fashion. Did you learn from that experience? I mean, listen, it ain't about coming close or competing. You want to win football games, but can you take something out of those type of games?
Yes. From learning from those losses, it helps us to see how important it is to bounce back from adversity, and that's something we're struggling with right now and we're working on right now, and that's more of a character building and not letting bad plays get to our heads. So just performing well in big moments is something we learned from that.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. Again, we're with the Beachwood Bison.
Max Alter. I'm a senior. I play center and nose tackle.
Max, this year's group, off the 3-7, motivation, especially losing those 2 close games. Just talk about kind of the attitude of this team coming into this year.
Well, one real big strength about our team is we always have each other's back. We were motivated after our 1-9 season 2 years ago, and feeling that we improved so little in the wins column, just 2 wins, is really keeping us going. We have a whole lot of returning starters that really want to finally break 500, and we all have a very positive mentality towards doing that. This particular team, the personality, the characteristics, what about this team gives you positivity moving forward? What about this team makes you think, we have a chance to really be successful this season? Well, our defensive coordinator always preaches that the 2 things we can control are our attitude and our effort. And whenever we come out, whether it's a film session, lifting, or just a practice, we always tend to give 100% effort. And when we don't, Coach Creel here whips us into shape. It's pretty nice to see that since we have diminished numbers, we always are able to go out and give it our all, and it's nice to see that we have that effort.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. One more member of the Beachwood football team here on the CVC Showcase. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Melvin Cato, and I play receiver and linebacker, and I'm a senior.
What would you say if I just asked you to give me the strength of the football team? What is it? Speed? Is it toughness? Is it athleticism? Is it unity? I mean, what would you say is the strength of this team?
I feel like the strength of our team is the offensive line, because they all come together as one and as a family, and they play hard every down.
After the way those first 2 games ended last year, is it important to get off to a good start this year, just from a momentum standpoint?
Yes, we have to get a good start to get the momentum going for the rest of the season.
How about keys to the year, just things that have to happen for Beachwood to be good this season?
Well, we got to play defense. We got to stop teams from scoring the football, because offensively we can move the ball against anybody.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and bring it back on. Coach Creel, you're up. Coach, and we're with Beachwood Bison here, CVC Showcase. Coach, these guys sound very confident, and they sound like they respond well to the coaching staff, and that last year didn't get them down. Do you like the attitude and kind of the style that they bring to the field?
Yeah, these guys have been with me for 3 years. So when I first got the job, they were sophomores. So they've grown with me and kind of adopted my philosophy and how I am and my characteristics as I was as a player. So I'm happy with who they are and what they've become, and looking forward to this season.
All right. Well, guys, I really appreciate you being here. We'll have a little more time next time. We're just trying to get everybody in somewhat of a normal matter. Thanks for being patient. And like I said, we're here every Monday, open invite. And, Coach, I will get your contact info and hopefully track you down, okay?
All right, appreciate you having me.
Thanks so much. That's the Beachwood Bison. Appreciate that. All right. So, Geneva, come on up. And then Orange, we made we're gonna take care of you guys, okay? Appreciate it very much, guys. Thanks. Eagles, come on up here. Hey, Coach, how are you? Thanks so much. All right. It's a lot of teams that get in 2 hours, folks, and I'm not even I'm just, nobody wants to wait till the end, so I really appreciate the teams that hung with us this whole way. Next up, the Geneva Eagles, and Coach, grab that microphone, and why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself for the folks listening.
I'm Chip Sorber, head football coach at Geneva. I'm entering my 3rd year. To my right here is Oscar Varquette, Mylan Kanicki, Jared Rice, Corey Coulton, and at the end is Blake Peete.
Coach, I'm going to start with this. Obviously, Geneva in the past had been in the Premier Athletic Conference and now in the CVC. and this side of the CVC is just so competitive and deep. And I mean, just from a grind standpoint and the good coaches and no weeks off, talk about playing in the Chagrin division of the CVC.
Well, years ago I was the head football coach at Middlefield Cardinal, so I'm very accustomed to the CVC. Coached at Chardon in the original CVC, and it's always tended to be an extremely well-coached conference with some very good players, very smart players, and some good systems and kids that worked hard. So you're right, the CVC is a grind, especially in the big division. It's tough, and it's going to be a big battle every week out.
Coach, give me a thumbnail sketch. You're not going to break any X's and O's or trade secrets here, but the Geneva Eagles 2017 edition, what do you like about this group? Some strengths, some pluses?
Well, what I like so far most is this team's displaying a lot of togetherness. We're kind of clicking as a unit together, which in the past we've had some trouble doing that. We have a lot of skill. Our skill has improved tremendously. Our team GPA was a 3.15 that we're finding to prove to be very valuable in the learning curve and how fast we're able to install and master our systems. So I like the team we have. I like the togetherness that we have, and I think that I guarantee you this team's going to be a much improved team from last year.
Coach, talk to me very quickly. Again, I don't want to beat up anything with last year, but do you use a year where obviously you didn't get as many wins as I'm sure you would have liked?
Correct.
Do you use that as motivation?
Yeah, we had 41 turnovers a year ago, and then there were 2 games where we had none. So we're averaging 6-7 turnovers in those games. We lost 4 games in the last 3 minutes of football games. So when you look at our program from a historical standpoint, that's even closer than what these guys have been used to getting to. We got to learn to shut the door, get over the edge, and cut out those turnovers. And if we can minimize our turnovers, we're going to be in good shape.
And start of the year, what a great win. Against Madison. I know that's that border, and just a tremendous first week victory. Weren't able to continue that momentum. Are you looking for that same kind of quick start this year and maybe carrying a little momentum?
Absolutely. We're looking on turning the tables on this Madison game. It's been a long-standing rivalry, and we've been on the wrong end of it for way, way, way too long, and we're about done with that, and our kids are done with that, and we're committed to being done with that. And we're going to win that game this year, too, and so those tables are going to be turned, and we're not going to be happy with that. I think last year's group was very, very happy with beating Madison. They were content with it, and they didn't care what happened after that. This group, I think, is on a mission. We're not going 2-8, and we're not going to have 2-8 behavior.
Coach, it's a great comment, and I love the attitude. Let's get these guys in here. They waited a long time to talk.
All right.
And go ahead, guys. Do me a favor. Give me name, year, position.
Oscar Marquette, senior and running back and outside linebacker.
Oscar, 2-8's not going to sit well for anybody, and you can hear it in Coach's voice. He's not messing around. So how much motivation, how much just attitude is there right now to turn things around from last year?
We're motivated to do as best as we can, way better than last year. We had a lot of turnovers, so we're stressing that a lot. Take good care of the ball.
Okay, so turnovers is the obvious one. But besides that, keys to the season, what do you think is going to happen for Geneva to be successful this year?
I think we just all 11 players have to do their job at the same time. And if we do that, we all click. We can do some things this year.
Appreciate it, man. Let's go ahead and pass that down. I want to make sure we get everybody in with 5 guys up. Name, year, and position.
Mylan Kanicki, cornerback, wide receiver, and senior.
When you look at this team in the off-season, summer, whether you scrimmaged or not, coming up, what do you like about this team? What are the things that really pop off the field at you?
Probably we're really close. We're all just so close, and it's helped out a lot. We're good at communicating, and it really shows.
I'll ask you, because I'm trying to change up the questions so not everybody gets the same too. I think you have one of the great home fields in all of Northeast Ohio. What's it like playing your home games at Spire, and that's got to be, you bring in other teams, it's got to be, what an atmosphere for you guys.
Oh, yeah, we like it a lot. It's a really nice stadium, so it's just fills up, and, it's fun to play under the lights, and,
It can get loud there, too, right?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Take care of business at home, is that kind of one of those attitude things?
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up for Geneva, go ahead.
Jared Rice, senior tight end and defensive end.
Tell me about the defense, because I don't usually ask. I get stuck asking about offense. Tell me about this year's defense.
I think our defense is really improved this year. We're flowing to the ball a lot better and talking more and stuff like that on defense. So we're doing a lot better this year.
What, last year Coach talked about a couple games, in the closing seconds going either way. Do you feel that this team, while those are tough lessons, learned something and maybe will use that to your benefit so it doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I think a lot of that's just like attitude and stuff like that. So I think this team's a lot better as far as that. And we don't have like a fragmented locker room like we did last year. I think we're like we've been saying, we're really close this year. So I think that'll help us finish games out a lot better.
Appreciate it, man. Go ahead and pass that down. Next up, after the next one, you're going to have to kind of come this way because it's not going to stretch. Go ahead.
Corey Colton, senior offensive tackle.
Tell you what, just tell me about this senior class. The guys, whether it be players or in school or off away from the field, this seems like a pretty close group.
Yeah, I think our seniors are really good. We're all close, and during the off season we had good weightlifting numbers. Like all of our seniors were showing up mostly to lifting.
What would a quick start mean to this team? And like I've been saying all night, nobody in the history of the show has ever said, we'd like to lose our first couple games. But what I mean is getting some momentum after losing some tough games last year. How big would a quick start be for you guys?
It'd be huge, definitely. Winning a couple games in a row to start the season, definitely start us off good.
Appreciate it. And just walk over here so we don't stretch the mic out too far. All right, next up for the Eagles, go ahead.
Blake Pete, I'm a sophomore. I play free safety and running back.
Oh, perfect, the young guy. So, sophomore, what do you learn from all these seniors, man? I mean, it seems like a pretty impressive group, a pretty tight group. What do you learn as a sophomore from these guys?
Yeah, I learned last year's group, the senior group. I could tell from the start they weren't close. There was fragmented groups everywhere. This group's all close. I mean, I hang out with all these teams, my whole team. I mean, there's no one that's apart from us.
Give me some keys, because I'm going to hopefully get Coach and you guys back up here on Mondays when we do our regular Chalk Talk. If you're going to have a successful season, and we're going to be talking about a lot of wins this year, what's got to have to happen for Geneva?
Communication and discipline. We got to talk on both sides of the ball. And discipline, we can't have locker room problems or off the field issues like we did last year.
How confident is this group? This is a fun group to talk to. I mean, it seems like no fear and no lack of confidence. Is that kind of the attitude this group takes on?
Yeah, we've been working all off season. We have 25-plus guys in the weight room all the time. I mean, it's pretty confident.
Appreciate it, man. Good luck to you guys this year. Coach, let's bring you back in. One more, and then we'll wrap up with Geneva and get our anchor team, the Orange Lions, who've been unbelievably patient for us. Coach, when you start the year, do you worry about numbers or putting things on the whiteboard or doing that? Well, you know what I mean? Or is it just as simple and as cliche and as coach talking as I worry about Madison in August and the rest of, then we worry about that? Or do you kind of peek and go, fellas, if we can do such and such, we got a chance? How do you kind of approach the season that way?
Well, kind of. I was just talking to somebody a couple weeks ago about the football season and for a football coach, it's almost like the season's starting to wind down now.
Right.
Kind as the season starts.
So much
with
prep.
all the lifting and everything that these guys have done. So it's exciting to see these guys. Like you said, they're a fun group. They're fun to be around. They got some good characters. The senior group is very inclusive, have allowed other kids to come in. They're not pushing guys out. I think they learned a lot of valuable lessons by watching what had happened in kind of a tough year last year. So I think the season's kind of ready to kick off. Excited about it. And at this point, it's Madison.
Absolutely. Well, promise me this, guys. You'll be back on one of these Mondays. I know it's a long ride, but you got an open invite. We do it all 10 weeks. Coach, I'll get your contact, and if it works out on a Monday, come on out, and if not, I'm going to bother you probably the next Monday. So
not a problem. We're just glad to be included. Glad to come out and visit with you guys.
This is great. Yeah, and I really appreciate your patience. I know you got a long ride, so best of luck to you guys this year, all right? Okay. Thanks for everything. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Coach. Take care. All right. Yeah. All right. So we're wrapping up the CVC Chagrin. We are at our anchor team and can't thank them enough for hanging in there with us tonight. Come on up, fellas. A big thank you to Geneva, who also very patient with us. Coach, thank you so much, man. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that dessert. It's the least I could do. They waited very, very patiently. With a lot of teams and teams coming in, you're just trying to get them as they come in. So did the best we could tonight. So, Coach, introduce yourself if you could.
Adam Becklem, head coach, Orange High School. This is year 9.
Year 9, wow. So tell me about, because now you guys got the floor. You ain't going anywhere now because I got nobody to rush for.
Yeah, practicing more.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm kidding around. Coach, just you know this league very well, and I mean, you know, Don Lewis doing a great job trying to expose people, but you can just hear the coaches and the kids, a lot of confident teams. I don't think any team thinks they're going to not have a good year. You're going to have a lot of parity, a lot of good teams, but I don't know if there's a superhuman team. Maybe Perry, obviously, at 10-0 last year. What do you see when you look at this conference?
Yeah, definitely got to give a lot of credit to Perry. Matt's doing a great job there. Give them respect. They're 13-1 last year, and state semifinals. So that would be the team there. But yeah, there's no easy games, and there never has been. This is a very well-coached league. I said that when I first got in this league, that, man, teams aren't huge and the schools aren't huge, but they're very, very well-coached. There's good football in this league.
Coach, 6-4 last year, so obviously a winning season, but I'm sure you'd have liked, a couple more here or there and maybe, challenge for that postseason berth. With this group, does this group have that look that if a few things go your way, is this a team that can take another step forward in your opinion?
Absolutely, and we've done that. In the time we've been here in the program, we've only taken steps forward or at least equal. So we've been 6-4 2 years in a row, and we were not satisfied with that. So 7-3 was definitely would have felt way better than 6-4 did. So with this group, they've worked very hard for that, and that is definitely the goal.
Won your last 2, beating Geneva and Beachwood. Momentum going into the offseason, that's got to feel good when you win. I know that's way back in October.
Right. That was so long ago.
But did you see some carryover into the weight room and into the offseason?
Absolutely. We have a great senior class. These guys, not only were they great in the weight room, but they're great in the classroom. The average GPA is over a 3.5. I got 5 guys in the senior class over a 4.0. So it's just a great group of kids, great group of leaders that they've totally bought in. And whether there was momentum for that or not, they just believe in the program and they work very hard.
Coach, when you look at this team, the 2017 Lions, what do you like about what you see? I mean, what are some of the things that really pop off the field at you that you just say, you know what, that's going to give us a chance to win football games?
Okay, well, so offensively, we have a very special offensive back in Jake Sonkin. He was a 1,400-yard rusher for us last year, 19 TDs. He's all of 5'4" and 130 pounds. So he's very special. Defensively, we also have a very special linebacker who leads the defense, and those guys are offensive and defensive specialists. And this guy sitting next to me here, David, he's a everywhere player. He can play multiple positions on offense, multiple positions on defense. He's a very good player. So we have some very special players. But the biggest piece to me is that we're a very intelligent, hardworking, fundamentally driven team. It's not about talent for us because talent can only get you so far. It's about how hard you can work with what you have. And I think that gives us the ability to be special.
It's a great answer. I almost don't have anything to follow with. I'm going to give it a shot, though. You want to introduce your guys, or do you want to let them do it?
I'll let them do it.
All right.
They're big boys.
Here we go. Guys, if you could just do the same thing, name, year, and position. Go ahead.
David Pinnell, running back and strong safety, but I play just about everything. Senior.
David, obviously high praise from your coach, and I'm assuming as a senior, someone who's already proven they can get some things done on the field, a lot of high expectations. Do you like that challenge of being counted on as one of the leaders on your football team?
Yes, I do. It's, I've been starting since sophomore year, so, it's not really a new challenge. So, I always want to prove myself and be better every day.
When you look at the league, David, I mean, obviously this is a CVC show, some really good teams on your side of the division, and starting with Perry, who ran the table last year. What's that like week in, week out, that grind? Does that kind of keep you focused when you know, man, there's no easy games. Every game we got to be ready to play?
Yes, it does, because every week is a brand new thing. We're going against a Wayne T. We change some things in the offense, going against different defenses, so it keeps you focused and on your feet.
What about some keys to this season? What is absolutely got to happen for you guys to be successful?
I think everyone's got to stay healthy. Just do your 111th. Do your role.
Perfect. Thank you, man. Push Push that down there to our next Orange Lion. And your name, sir?
Pablo Garcia, middle linebacker.
Linebacker? Yeah. What year are you?
Senior.
Senior, okay. Talk about the senior class if you could. Just, is it a close group? I mean, obviously you've been around Coach now all 4 years.
Yeah.
Grown. Coach talks about never taking a step back, always progressing. Talk about this senior class.
I think our senior class this year, last year we didn't really have that many leaders. We had a couple, but they didn't lead like they should have, like senior players. And our senior class, I think we have a lot of leaders. I think everybody does their part. We're captains, but I feel like if they say something, like people respect them as much as they respect us.
What about this team, particularly this team that you've seen in the weight room or on the practice field or in a scrimmage or whatever it may be? What about this team that really has you excited for 2017?
Well, I saw us coming out. We had a scrimmage today against Garfield Heights, and we came out a little slow, but we started picking things up, and people started getting aggressive, which I like. And if they showed me that we have a chance of going. Like our goal is 7-3. But hopefully
6-4, nothing wrong with that. It's a winning season, but as Coach said, you're not out to just be 6-4. So how do you take that next step? Is it just as simple as maybe a couple things here or there go your way?
Yeah, it's the little things we have to focus on, like blow, deliver, hints inside, all the like fundamental tackling. It's really big for us. But yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead and pass that down. Thank you very much. Next up for Orange. Go ahead.
I'm Jake Sonkin. I'm a senior. I play running back.
So tell me a little bit about your offense. Coach seems to like what you guys bring to the table and a chance to have another tremendous season.
Well, I think that our offense is like really, really dynamic and really smart. We can handle anything Coach wants to throw at us. We can handle any motions, any diversions, and we have a really good offensive line, I think, coming in. I'm really just excited to see what happens. I mean, we're a threat at any angle, in my opinion.
And what were those numbers, Coach? 1,400 yards? Those are your numbers, huh? Yeah, that's pretty good. And when Coach said all of 5'4", well, unfortunately this isn't on video, that's probably right on, right? Yeah. So I know this isn't an individual sport. I get that it's more of a team thing, but, man, as a junior to pull off how do you even worry about trying to do that again, or is it more just about giving credit to the O-line? Talk to me about what you want to see out of yourself this year.
I would say I definitely expect a lot out of myself, but it's nothing that I didn't expect before last season. I expect more out of myself every single day. I expect more out of my teammates every single day. And I really think that last year we had an unreal offensive line, and they were the backbone between my yards. They were at all of those yards. But I'm excited to see what happens. We have a great new line. I mean, I'm confident in myself. I'm confident in my teammates. I think we'll be good.
So I asked Coach this. As a player, you're 4-4, and then you win your last 2 games. Does that, I know it's way back in October, but does it carry over at all? I mean, I got to believe it gives you at least some positivity, a good taste in your mouth moving into the offseason. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think that as a team we try and keep out what our records are, how the past games have gone, just focus on the next game ahead of us, the next task. I think that we're going to be ready for anything that we have to get.
How about keys to the season, real quick? Just 10 seconds, just real quick. What do you think's the key to the season?
7-3, make playoffs, minimum. 8.
10-0.
Yeah.
Coach, come on, grab that mic from him. All right, appreciate it. Some big numbers for the running back for the Orange Lions. Coach,
he's better on the field than he is on the mic.
No, they're all doing well. So, real quick, as we wrap this up, and as our anchor team, again, one more time, let me just say how much I appreciate your guys' patience in being here, and I hope to get you back on a Monday when we do our regular show. And if I get you back, whether it's mid-season or the end of the season, if Orange is having a successful year, what had to happen? What's some must this year? Not maybe build this. No. This absolutely is going to happen.
Well, we got better every day. That would be the first goal. And that's what we have 3 daily goals. We need to be accountable. We need to get better. We need to stay positive. So if we've done that then, and that's what I talked to the guys about. We were successful today. We had a great day today, but tomorrow has to be better today, and then the next day has to be better than tomorrow. So that had to have happened, and we had to stay healthy. These guys are right about it. They know. We have between our junior and senior class, we're looking at about 20 players, and we have sophomores that are contributing. So we need to stay healthy.
Coach, last question of the night, and it's when you look at this team, whether it's 6 in the morning at 2-a-days or at a scrimmage or in the weight room or once they get to school walking around, does this team have that look that they can take that next step, that they can challenge the Perrys of the world, that they can make a run at the postseason? You've been doing this long enough. I'm sure you know what these kind of teams look like. Does this team have that look?
Here's what I can tell you about this team. Every player on our roster that's going to step on a field on Friday night is 100% committed to what we're doing. There's no doubt. They've jumped in already, and they're working on what we want them to work on. They work as hard as they possibly can, and we'll see how far that can take us.
Well, if you guys play, I'm telling you, this conversation, man, I'm going to listen to it back because this has really been a lot of fun. Very, very well spoken. You got to worry about them off the field. That would be my guess. Right?
Oh, these are great kids.
Yeah. No,
I'm happy every day to be with
I've been
these
doing
kids.
this long enough. I can't tell you how impressed I am by these three and you too, Coach. Just great answers, great positivity, and just the attitude. If that's the case, you're going to win a lot of football games.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here, guys. Again, one more time, I apologize for the wait.
No worries. Thank you. They got ice cream out of it, right?
Right. Heck, if that's the case, every Monday I'll buy you ice cream.
Right. We'll be here. I'll come.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank
Good
you very
luck
much.
this year, okay?
Thank you.
And that's the Orange Lions. We thank them so much for being here. CVC Chagrin. Good luck this year, guys. All right, thanks, Coach. That wraps us up. I got some people I got to thank. Obviously, it starts with Don Lewis, the commissioner of the CVC, who spearheaded this whole thing. Basically just gave me the opportunity, called and said, hey, here's my idea. You want to be part of it? And I said, where do I sign up? Couldn't jump at the chance enough. And you can see by this turnout, Doc, what a turnout here tonight.
Billy, this is unbelievable. I just want to thank the Hooley House.
That was my next one to thank. The
coaches. Billy, I want to thank you. I just knew that I could count on you to do this. The nice part is you listen to these kids. They're not public speakers, but boy, each one did a great job. And you know what? It goes to speak to what the coaches are doing with these kids. This is our future. This is the youth of America. And as I see these guys pile out, not only that they're big, they're well spoken. I think that's really cool.
Good luck to all of them. And I thought too, 14 out of the 16 teams were here tonight, and the other two, it wasn't that they didn't want to be here; they had commitments on either scrimmages or scheduling. That's the way it works.
Yeah,
so.
It's interesting you brought that up because as I was watching, I received texts from those other two school head coaches saying, "We wish we were there. We'll be there next year." So. This is neat.
It's Berkshire and Wycliffe, and I'm going to invite them on the Monday when we do our regular Chalk Talk, and we can even cut that clip out and have the CVC use that. That's not a problem at all. But so great. Thanks to you, and I have a feeling that after the success of tonight, you might see the CVC back up here at Hooley House. It might be in form of another sport. You got plenty of sports to pick from, right?
Billy, you've known me for a long time. My mind is always moving.
Yeah, it should be. Right?
What I'd like to do is I'd like to put together a wrap-up year-end football show where the coaches and the first teamers come up and we run it as a showcase for the first team.
Mikey, we can do that, can't we?
Yep.
My technical guru, Mike Clark, who is nobody will appreciate until you hear this and see it. And what he has in his head of how he wants to add it's unbelievable. And just the sound clarity from what it used to be up here, Mike has been a godsend just in this very first show. So I just want to shout out to him real quick, too. 25th of August, you get going with some good crossovers with Kirtland and Chagrin. You get going with some great independent games. And I'm sure it's going to be a very, very busy year for you. But hopefully we'll get you back up here, Doc.
Well, thank you. I actually laid out my schedule for the upcoming fall to get to every one of these schools to watch them play. And the first place will be at Chagrin Falls, Kirtland, Chagrin Falls.
Two of them at one time,
right there. A double banger, that's for sure.
Well, Doc, like I said, I had a lot of fun. I tell you what, I mean, it's 2 hours. This podcast is now 2 hours and 25 minutes. I haven't moved, haven't taken a sip of water, and I feel feel fine. Like this is fun when you're talking to kids that give you answers that want to be here. They're not pulling teeth.
Right.
And we're talking about
No
football
pun intended.
and right,
No pun intended.
and how excited they are to be getting going in 17 days or whatever it is. So this was a lot of fun for me tonight.
Billy, you've not taken a sip of water. You've barely taken a breath.
Hey,
you can do it.
I needed to get 14 teams in 2 hours.
You are your father's son. I just want to let you know, you're our father's son.
Yeah, I'll make sure that Tim knows. Yes. So thank you so much. We're going to get out of here.
Thank you very much.
Whew, all right. So again, Doc Lewis, the commissioner, to Busy, who ran the show, and this place ran like a top tonight. Everybody was sat. Everybody ate. Everybody was comfortable. Everybody was happy. To Mike Clark, the technical engineer on this. How about all the girls on the floor?
Unbelievable.
From the servers to the bartenders, Taylor and Carrie, I believe, are back there, to the hostesses, to everybody here. Kyle and his crew in the back cranking out food at like a rapid rate on a Tuesday night.
They were putting out. Those are some hungry boys.
Yeah,
boys.
so it was just a great night all around. I want to thank everybody. And now they know what to expect when the CVC comes to town. So
we'll see you back here.
And we will be back. All right, so thanks so much to everybody. Again, check out YouTube, Facebook. My Twitter is @RealChalkTalk. I'll tweet out the link. Mike said he should have all this done maybe by tomorrow night, and everybody will get a chance to check us out. And the CVC has some great games coming up and some great teams. Doc, thanks again, man.
Enjoy.
All right,
Okay,
all right,
thank you,
everybody
bud.
have a good evening.